All right, hello everyone.
Hello. So, hi. Hey, Jake. What's up?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome
already off to
the Hivemind Recap Podcast, August 2021. The 1 year anniversary of the trifecta of the four elements that make up the four of us here. I'm back as per usual with Justin, Derek, and Jacob. We're going to talk about some new singles, a new EP, 4 new albums at the end of the episode. We're going to ramble. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk shit. We're going to... and we're also going to fill out a bingo card.
Oh, the bingo card.
Yep. If you follow us on Twitter at Halfman Radio, you can see the bingo card we're going to be using.
And you can play along at home.
Yes, sir. Basically, context. After last episode, our July recap, we thought it would be really funny to make a bingo card based on a bunch of coincidences that happened during each of our episodes. So, like, for example, if we make a bad transition, you can cross that off on the bingo card, because we are most certainly going to make a bad transition. But then there's other ones.
It's if it's when.
Yeah. But then there are other ones which are a little bit more discreet.
This is just a child-friendly way of take a shot every time we do something stupid.
Dude, we would be gone. We'd be getting to the EP section, like, slurring everything. It would be over.
It would be rough.
I opt out.
I think we ought to do that,
out of that.
For, like, our 2 year anniversary.
I opt out.
Every time somebody crosses someone off their bingo card, we just take a shot. By the end of the episode, 3 of us are just gone, and Jake's sitting there like, guys, what's up, Tony?
No, Jake's fine. He can just do his actual radio show.
That's true.
Well, I graduate in the spring, which is going to be like 2 months after the 2 year anniversary, so not much longer.
Damn.
So that's crazy to think about, actually. Anyway, as I said, welcome to the Hivemind Recap Podcast. Thanks for tuning in and listening to our shenanigans that we get up to each month. If you want to keep up to date with the podcast and fill out one thing on the bingo card, you should follow us on social media at HivemindRadio _ on Instagram and Twitter. Hivemind Radio Recap on Spotify and other streaming services, and just Hivemind Radio on YouTube. That's where you find us. And go subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we do these live at the beginning of each month. I did.
I knew somebody was gonna say that. Damn it.
Yeah, we do these at the beginning of each month live on YouTube. So if you want to pop in the chat and talk to us while we're discussing music live, you can, or you can just leave us comments on social media after the edited episode comes out a few days after the live stream. But anyways, I think that's about it for the beginning rambles. Any general thoughts on the month of August in terms of life or in music before we get into our specific songs here?
I just want to mention that fuck Virginia and being like one of the best places to have hurricanes and tornadoes.
What?
Yeah,
Did you guys get nailed down there?
Nah, it's not that bad, but I work for car.
Close to the ocean.
No, I work for car insurance.
Oh,
that's the worst part.
Field day.
Yeah, I work for claims, so that's the worst part.
Oh yeah, it's over for you.
It's so screwed.
We didn't get like anything in the middle of the state, so I didn't think that like you guys got nailed that hard. But I guess you're closer to the ocean. Plus claims. Hell no.
Did like the weather just do like a 180 and like go from like super humid as fuck to like very nice over the span of like 2 days?
That's what happened here.
Yeah, same here. I know, like
it's like fall weather now.
Yeah,
exactly. Like the last 2 days have just been amazing.
Mm-hmm. It was like, all right, you got a week of like living hell. Here's a couple nice days to balance it out.
Yeah.
Jake said that like we were here to talk good and talk shit, but I don't have a lot of shit to talk this month.
No, I just know the hell that's upcoming next month.
Oh God,
yeah. We are so.
When I said talk shit, I didn't necessarily mean about the music. I meant we were going to talk shit at each other as well. Because
we did that enough during the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what his point was.
Yeah, that was my point. Anyway,
get with the program.
Anyway, yeah, get with the program. Let's get started. Under Oath dropped a brand new song called Hallelujah. how are we feeling on this one compared to whatever they dropped last month, which I can't even.
Excuses.
I erased
Wonder how
that from
Jake
my
feels.
memory. I erased that one from my memory. That one didn't happen.
I
You go.
I love the chorus, but the rest of the song is like for me.
This is
Like-
so much better than Damn Excuses, though. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
a million times.
Like, I don't really care for either of them all that much, but this is definitely better than Damn Excuses. There were actually parts of this that I found myself enjoying, which is not something I could really say about last month. I think similar to Jacob, I enjoyed the chorus, and I enjoyed kind of the creepier sounding backing vocals at parts of the song. I only listened to the song a handful of times throughout the month, but it definitely gave me some spook creep vibes. I don't know if that's just me, but
The more cleans this band uses, the better. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I really don't like. That's why I didn't like Damn Excuses, because it was just uncleans after uncleans after uncleans, and
It's a
it's not my
very
favorite style.
It's a like what do you call it? Devil Wears Prada kind of like raw
Yeah.
vocal
yeah.
that takes a while to get used to. At least for me.
Nope, I'm in the same boat. I think my main gripe with this song was the breakdown. And it's because they've got this like whole chant going, and the last part of the chant is like, "This is hell." And right before the breakdown, I was hoping that he would like synchronize a scream with like the choir in the background, so you would have like a lower "This is hell" screams versus like the chant that's going on in the background to create this awesome dynamic. And instead there was just this like brief pause, and then he goes, "This is fucking hell." And I was just like, It left me very upset. Like I feel like it could have been more, and I just kind of sat there frowning. It's not like it's a bad breakdown, but I feel like I was like, oh yeah, I know where this is going in my head. And I had an ideal scenario, and then it didn't come to fruition, and it made me sad. But all that to say that I think this is pretty good.
I actually like the breakdown.
Well, I don't even think it's like, I think it's, you know how we had the attack discussion where it's like, if they would release music under a different name,
Yeah.
like the expectations would be different.
Spoiler alert, I'm gonna say that a bunch this episode.
Oh, good. It's the same sort of thing for this with me, except it's my own expectations got subverted, and now I'm upset. Like, I don't think it's any objective issue, but anyway, check this out if you didn't like Damn Excuses, because this is definitely different in a good way.
As It Is dropped a brand new song called I Lie to Me.
Screaming at myself now. I lie to me. Yeah, I lie to me. I say everything's gonna be.
I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't really feeling this at first. And
Me
then
neither.
I kept going back to it more and more throughout the month, and now I really like it a lot.
I still like. I don't give a fuck.
I
Better.
agree. I think
Yep,
that song
I
is
agree.
still much better. But this song was like, it didn't really stand out that much to me at the beginning of the month. But the more I listened to it, like, that one line in particular, it says, "I say everything's going to be all right, like I'm that naive." Just the vocal delivery on that line really just got to me. In a similar way to the chorus, just the vocal delivery grew on me the more I listened to it. And overall, I'm really happy with this song.
I don't know what it is. I've tried to go back to listen to it a few times. It's not quite clicking with me right at the moment. I did go back and listen to it before the podcast, and it's just something about the instrumentals. It kind of feels a little bit like washed out.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to I Don't Give a Fuck, where I feel like the instrumentals kind of were a bit more out in the open, a bit more exuberant. This, just something about it. I need more time with it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna echo what you say in the sense that I think this song needs more punch. Like I feel like it's lacking a lot of the same impact vocally and especially instrumentally that I Don't Give a Fuck had. So I'm just, like you said, I'm left wanting more. I want this song to be something more than it is.
I will say though, I do commend As It Is, because over the course of like 4 years of development, they still have a very similar sound.
Yes.
Like if you listen to this and then go back to anything off of OK or hell, even never Never Happy Ever After, like
Mhm.
there wouldn't be much of a difference.
With this single and I Don't Give a Fuck, I'm left at like a 50-50 of sorts in terms of like my expectations for the upcoming album. Because I Don't Give a Fuck had me super hyped, and now this has me kind of just like, you know? So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm still optimistic because it took like it took a while for me to actually really like the transition to the Great Depression and the songs that were building up off of it. Plus, I really liked a lot of the non-singles. So if this does come about to an album, they haven't explicitly said, but it's probably gonna be assumed this might be an album. But who knows?
I definitely think the idea of like your expectations going out of I don't give a fuck into this probably has a little bit to do with why this song feels a lot more underwhelming. I think if you release this as the first single is like new cycle for As It Is, and they start with I Lie to Me, I feel like your expectations are very different, so to say. So I kind of feel like it's partially just due to the fact that it's a follow up to a really good song, and
Yeah,
it's not meeting that same level.
kind of reminds me of going from like Space in the Water for Hands Like Houses to hearing Dangerous and Stranger, like that kind of difference. Like if I Lie to Me came first, I feel like it would be a better transition to the sound for I Don't Give a Fuck.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I think that's about it for that. Memorist have dropped a brand new song called Second Sequence. The follow-up to their song from last month called The Empiric, which I am still extremely high on. This song, however, I am not nearly as high on. It kind of, there isn't really any sort of a build up into it. I wonder if that's like, maybe if this is like an opening track to an EP or an album coming up, and there's like an interlude opener somewhere that goes before it. But the way this song started just kind of was off putting to me. And then there wasn't any super redeeming quality to me like the Empiric had.
It's already been kind of hinted that this is going to be an EP. I think it was kind of leaked a little bit ago when the Empiric was making the rounds. This is probably going to be an EP. I think 5 tracks. But the second sequence hasn't really clicked with me as much. I don't know what it is. Like, I've tried to go back and listen to all of Memorist to kind of get a grip on them to understand how the CP is going to sound, and I'm not on board yet.
So I like this better than the Empiric, which I feel like may be a hot take.
That is a bold take.
I mean, that's not as hot a take for me because I'm still like on the fence.
The Empiric felt too atmospheric to me, as opposed to this, which I find like a lot easier to replay and like a lot more digestible from like face value. And it's not like to say that I didn't like the Empiric, because I did, but I feel like Second Sequence, maybe not objectively, but from like just my perspective, is a much, much better song, and definitely going to be the one out of the two that I revisit a lot more.
Wrong opinion, but okay.
That's fair. You know, it's very fair. I respect it.
Jacob, you have any thoughts on this one from Memorist, or?
Not really.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much more to say here. We got a lot of music to talk about, so I kind of want to keep the show on the road.
Make it happen.
We got Don Broco back with yet another single called One True Prince.
Fuck yeah, we do, baby. This is the best song of the month.
That's a take.
I'm putting my foot down.
I will say tied for top 3 for me.
Okay.
This
Mainly
is the
because
least-
that chorus just, it's amazing. My favorite Don Broco chorus.
This is the least Don Broco song Don Broco's released.
This is Don Broco if they released a Deftones song.
Pretty much.
Look, this I need to formulate, like, take a second to formulate my words because I have like strong feelings about this. I think this shit needs to go in the Louvre, personally. Like, is the Mona Lisa in the Louvre? Right, that's the place I'm thinking of. Because if it's there, this needs to go next to it.
I have no idea.
I have
They
no
need to
idea.
print this
no idea,
on
man.
7-inch vinyl. Okay, see now I gotta know: is the Mona Lisa in the Louvre?
Oh no, the Googler's here.
The Mona Lisa's in the Louvre. I am so incredibly smart. Where's my
Oh,
PhD
no.
at? Anyway, look, the way that the verses are like so mellow, but the instrumentals sound so big, and then that like
Yeah.
change shift in the chorus, both in like
Yes.
vocal delivery and everything, along with the lyrics. That it's like, what is it? It's okay that we're not in love. It's okay that we're not enough. Spinning around a dying sun, just like everyone. Like, obviously the lyrics themselves are reassuring, but I feel like that transition in from like mellow, softer delivery into like big delivery and like loud delivery is even more reassuring. It just feels like you're being enveloped by like what's being sung. And then, oh my good gravy, also in the Louvre, specifically the key change before the last chorus. It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think the replayability value on this song is like huge in the sense that I just want to put it on loop, but like every time I always want to go back to it in like a specific setting, and I always feel like blown away by certain aspects of the song. It's a very, I guess it's a little melancholy in terms of lyrics, but it's also very comforting. I don't know. It's a powerful song, I feel like, more so than any Broco song I've really ever heard. Like, I'm used to more of a upbeat, punchy type.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the least Don Broco song that Don Broco's ever released, but I don't think I'm unhappy about it. I'm very happy about it,
Yeah.
actually. This is like, they're very out there, I feel like, in their music in a lot of ways. And this, even that said, like, this is still a departure, but I think it's done perfectly.
I
I
think
am shocked this is not the closer. It's
Mm.
not the album.
No, it's like track 5.
Yeah, it's track
Huh.
5.
it's a dead butterflies kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that leaves me wondering what the hell the closer's going to be. Because if they pick something else over this, I'm just like, I'm ready to be blown away. Alternatively, if it's very underwhelming, I'm going to be pissed. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there at 3 a.m. on Friday, September 17th.
That's
After we've
so
already heard 7
funny.
other albums.
I hate how accurate that is. I hate it.
This is
We're
so
going to get to
accurate.
track 5 and be like, guys, can we just make this the closer? Like, I need to go to bed. Jake's sitting there. He's got like my family in his basement. He's like, "No, we're
I'm
finishing
at
the album
college.
tonight."
I'm at college now. I have no family to disturb. I only have roommates to disturb.
All right,
and I'm
then
pretty
who's
sure
got my
they're
family
sweet.
in the basement on September 17th. Who's calling dibs on abducting my family and forcing me to listen to every album that comes out? Somebody's got to do it. Justin's
I mean,
closest. Justin, you got a basement?
No,
Well, get one and then come pick up my parents.
closest I have is a roof.
That's fine.
We'll
What
put
the
Derek
hell?
on
What the hell?
A roof is just a sky basement. Okay, it's fine.
Dude, you can watch the sunrise while Don Broco's playing.
Dawn
That was just
Broco.
Yo, perfect date idea.
Dawn Broco at
We
dawn.
go watch the sunrise and just listen to this song on repeat.
Dawn
Sunrise
Broco at
was-
dawn could be like a news segment in the morning. I
Oh
swear
yeah,
to God.
Dawn Broco.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
The
I
sunrise
think
with
we're onto something.
the sunrise with a key change, and your parents are just tied to
Oh,
the roof.
yeah, just as the sun comes over the horizon, Jake kicks my parents off the roof. Like
And then
it's
it's like
perfect.
spinning
Oh my
out a
God.
dying sun.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the more this idea gets presented, the more into it I am. Maybe not my dead parents part, but if that's what it takes to watch John Broco during the
What
sunrise,
hell?
you know. You
I hate
win
how
some,
this could
you
actually
lose
work.
some.
'Cause, like, I've been a part of my campus news station for 3 years too, so like I have a bit of a background knowledge on how to make that happen.
Yeah, well, they'll
But-
never suspect you. They'd be like, yeah, the guy who was doing the news, he never reported on his own killing. It's perfect, Jake. You got an alibi. You got Don Broco. We're in there.
All right, to get back on track. I'm glad we went on that tangent because that was funny.
That was
But
great.
I have been keeping quiet. Derek, I believe you. I'm coining this term for you, but casket syndrome,
Uh-huh.
where it's really good, but I don't like it. is
Mhm.
exactly how I feel about this song, where I am upset that this song does not work for me. This song has every reason to be one of my favorite songs of the month, and it isn't. I the verses don't work. The chorus is huge. It's powerful. I still can't get into it. I appreciate the fuck out of the pitch shift at the end, and that was the moment where like I feel like I'm finally gonna get into it, and it just doesn't work, and I'm frustrated. I'm so goddamn frustrated, bro. I want to like this so bad, but I can't. Or maybe I'm not. I shouldn't say that I can't. I just don't at the is
Maybe you need to hear
far as
it
I'm
in the
doing.
context of the album.
I might. I very well might, but
Maybe you
like,
just need to go watch the sunset with that key change.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? If he doesn't like it in the context of the album when all is said and done, he can go off the roof instead. I don't care. Like, it is what it is.
Casualty of war. It's upsetting too, because like when you frame this as like the least Don Broco song Don Broco has ever put out, and I haven't really clicked with the other two songs either. If this is like a stray away from everything else that they've ever done, and I still don't like it, like
It's a
what
bad
the
look, yeah.
hell isn't working for me? I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, you got 14 days to figure out whether or not you want to live, so get it sorted out between now and then.
Shit, I need some time to think about this 2 weeks notice, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's move on. Sleep Token are back with a brand new song called "The Love You Want."
How are we feeling?
Oh my god, that
About-
silence.
That's the power of editing. What silence,
No,
guys?
don't take it out. I want it to be there.
You're a menace. You're such a menace.
Fine.
How do we feel about this versus Alkaline?
Not as good.
Alkaline's better.
I agree, but this is still really good.
Yep. Okay. I'm in the same boat as you, Tony. I'm really fucking with this.
Why the fuck are we calling him Tony?
You missed the Tony discussion?
No, I was there. I was there for it.
Well, then why'd you ask why we're calling him Tony for? That's
I still don't get it.
He introduced himself earlier. Why don't you remember his name? What's wrong with you? That's not very gentlemanly of you. I think you need to work on your manners.
Remember the sleep I want.
Oh, the love you want?
Yes.
So anyway, Sleep Token is a
this
pretty
so-
cool band.
Yeah,
They're pretty
this
cool.
is sick.
Why are they mongrels and posting on December 17th or September 17th? Why
Yeah,
did they
Sleep
decide
Token
to-
is the 24th.
Oh, is it the
That's their
24th?
day.
Sweet
That's
Token is
National
the
Sleep
24th.
Token Day.
Which is the
Oh.
second worst day of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, we do love some National Sleep Token Day.
I'm saying that's what it is. It has to be. I don't think anything else like amazing.
It's
is releasing
contending
that
with
day.
Poppy and Des Rocks and
Oh,
and
wow.
Dayseeker Deluxe.
Oh well, they can share it. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So-
Dayseeker takes the afternoon shift. Sleep Token takes the night
Exactly.
shift. Anyway, this song, I don't know. I had a very this surprised my expectations, given that Alkaline was the only thing I have heard from this band. And I expected something along those lines, and this took a very different direction. And even so, I still liked this direction, but not as much as I liked what I heard on Alkaline. I feel like this is one of those songs that, like, you should save this one for the album, man. You dropped this song with that music video on the 24th to, like, press release the album for release day or whatever, and you release a different single for single number 2 on this cycle. I really feel like this song deserves to be experienced in the context of an album and not as a single. But
It's-
either way, it's still a good song. So that's just I mean, that's barely even critiquing the music. That's just critiquing the marketing for it, and it is what it is on that front.
It's too long in my opinion. I feel like if it was like 30 seconds shorter, I feel like it would be a bit more easier
Oh,
to
no,
digest.
there. We have to convince them.
Give it a go.
I think it's similar argument for One True Prince. The production is huge. I
Mhm.
gotta say, the piano in verse 2. Chef
Yes, Lord.
What?
So hype you up. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Love that single. What?
I just lost my train of thought. What's
The
happening?
collective single cell of the hive mind just like short circuited. It's over. Oh God.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Look,
That was quick.
I just yeah, that was my master plan, was just to like take the mic for collective stupidity. I feel like Sundowning, like their last album, was maybe a bit like darker in tone.
Mhm.
I feel like as a whole, and I wasn't quite as into it. And I feel like between this and Alkaline, it's not that it's like happy by any means, but it's certainly not quite as dark, I feel like. And so there's like this, almost with that progression that it builds, feels happy by the end, even if the lyrics aren't reflecting it. Like it feels like there's an outburst of emotion here that's not super dark and as chaotic as I feel like the last album was. And I feel like that's what is drawing me in on this song. Especially like I've noticed it with both this and Alkaline, but just the fact that there's that progression and the burst at the end feels like it earned its spot there.
Mm.
So I'm liking it a lot more than something that was maybe like, you know, there's just like casual chord progression. It's like, oh yeah, I knew this was building, like it's getting there. Like, oh yeah, the break happened. I expected it, it's pretty good, whatever. I feel like this is one of the better examples this year of that happening where, like I said, it feels like it earned its break. And so I'm fine with it as a single. I agree with Jake that I feel like this would be better served hearing for the first time during the album, but I also feel like this is more accessible than Alkaline, and so it might be
That's a
that
good
might be
point,
more of the
actually.
reason
Yeah,
that they released it. You know,
that's a good
like
point.
there's not, the guitars aren't as like chonky, I guess, and like out there. But I will say this gives me like Hosier vibes from the vocal delivery, and I showed it to my girlfriend who's like a Hosier super stan, and she loved it. So, you know, I feel like their vocals in and of themselves are being accessible. So I feel like this, The Love You Want, is taking that to the next level with instrumentals that are a bit easier to digest than somebody hitting like gent in the background, you know? I don't know. But
What I find interesting is the lyrics are kind of like the not opposite but contradictory from Alkaline.
well, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Alkaline's more like I'm trying to get with this person and convince them that they should be with me,
Yeah,
as
it's
opposed
the
to Love You Want being like,
lust,
yeah, yeah.
lust kind
No,
of feel.
I'm wondering, so if that's the case, do you think that's just consistent between these two, or are we getting like a concept album or a theme?
I would imagine we're getting a concept.
This band's too big brain to not get a concept
Yeah.
album, actually.
Yeah,
now that
that's
I
true.
said that.
That's very true.
But on the track list, this is before Alkaline. It's number 5 and Alkaline's number
Oh.
7.
Interesting.
September 24th, be there, be square, National Sleep Token Day.
You know what else we'll see?
What?
A new album from Concrete Castles next month
Oh.
called Wish I Missed You, which they also dropped as a single. Featuring Anthony Green of Circa Survive, I think?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Miss you. I wish I miss you too. I can't say I miss you.
I'm also pretty sure he was in Say Ocean. It's a steady devolution. Next episode, instead of talking about albums, it's just going to be my therapy session. But none of you guys will be there. We'll just live stream me with my therapist. I'll be working through it. It's album
Vessel.
overload.
It's Vessel from Sleep Token. He's your therapist.
Yeah, exactly. This song is really good.
This song is very good. This song is a whole ass vibe. This feels very different from the other 3 singles that they dropped for this album, and I fucking love it.
Yep.
It's Concrete Castle's album of the year season, baby. Like,
for sure.
I don't. It's not getting album of the year, but like we're talking top 10 album of the year contender season. You know,
You don't know
Sounds
that.
like-
You don't know
Sounds like
that.
you got it already picked.
Maybe.
I mean, at this point, I think I do, but we'll see. I also thought I had my top 10 picked in May, so. But yeah, I think my main point was actually going to be what you said, that like this was different than everything else. I think this is my least favorite single, only on the grounds that it took me longer to get into initially than the rest of them did.
I would agree.
And so I've spent both like more time initially and like less time overall. I feel like trying to get into it, but I say it's my least favorite. Like I don't have all 4 of their singles liked, and they're not all like 8.5 on 10 or better. And like,
Yeah,
like they got 5 songs out, and I'm seeing a green heart next to all of them on Spotify. So
I think it's a little strange that they picked this song to be the title track and the name of their debut album.
yeah,
It feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel like. I feel like when you're releasing a debut album, you want to make a statement, and naming your album "Wish I Missed You" doesn't exactly leave that much of an impression on me. But either way, this song is still fantastic. I do think it is the weakest of the 4 singles because it is so different from the other singles that they have released, and it definitely took me some time to figure out, do I actually like this or not? But the more I listen to it, the more this song, as I said, it's just a whole ass vibe. You're going to just like bop along to this song, especially that chorus. Just like the beat of the chorus is just super catchy, repetitive, whatever you want to call it. This song hooks you in with enough time, and like I keep wanting to go back to it. Alrighty.
Yes.
We got Defenses with a brand new song called False Gods. This is off of an upcoming album called In the Balance, releasing in October, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something to look forward to if you're a Defenses fan like me. As far as I'm aware, you 3 have not been convinced by this band yet. I want to see, has this song done it yet?
I'm raising my hand right now.
Let's go. Let's go.
Justin, Jacob, are you with?
I'm with you.
I don't
Yay! Oh,
We got him. We got 2 out of 3. We got 2
had
out of
an
3.
opportunity for a 4-0.
Yeah. We had
Alas.
an opportunity for a bingo card moment. Anyway, this song, like, this is by far the best single they ever released for this upcoming album. And I know that collectively, none of us were super high on either of the past 2 singles. I was more higher on Say It from June. But I still didn't love it compared to their EP from last year, which was one of my favorite EPs of 2020. This, I can't even tell you what makes this work more than the last 2, but the formula just works. And it's just a good ass song. The vocal contrast is the same as it's always been. It's just executed better for whatever reason to my ears. Like, I can't explain why this song is the best song. It just is.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat. I thought this was just gonna be like the other 2 where I wasn't as into it when the first time the vocalist hit their higher register. It was towards the start of the song, and I was like, I'm not so convinced by this delivery. But for whatever reason, the way that like the chorus was structured and delivered and everything else,
The
'cause
chorus
my
is
issue-
super catchy. The chorus is super
Yeah.
catchy. The way that they like stagger the vocals a little bit. I really like that part.
I don't want to say that like the clean vocals in the past have been like bad. They just haven't been my style. Like I'm not as into, higher pitched vocals. I feel like they're a pretty big hit or miss for me personally, and it wasn't hitting it. But I feel like they explored their higher register, I guess would be the way to put it, without going too high in the rest of the song. So it was like right on that borderline of what I enjoy and what I don't, and I think they nailed it. This was probably the biggest surprise of the month for me.
Happy to
Not,
hear.
and it's
Happy to hear.
like, oh, the band came out of nowhere, like we haven't talked about them before, whatever. But just that, I wouldn't expect to have liked a Defenses song as much as I did this one based on past material, and I am very happy with this.
This is more of what I heard in the potential of that EP of last year, and I'm hoping for more stuff like this on the upcoming album. With that being said, we got 2 new songs from Wage War, High Horse and Circle the Drain, off of an upcoming album called Manic, releasing in October as well.
Down from your high horse. Is this what you want? Is this what you need? Rip the flesh from the bone of the hand that feeds.
Let's start with High Horse first, because that was the first single to release this month. Circle the Drain came right at the end of the month. High Horse is top 5 song of the month, maybe top 3, if you ask me. I was not sold on... I mean, I was sold on Wage War after the Pressure album. Contrary to most people's opinion, I enjoyed that album a decent amount. I still haven't gone back to either of their 2 albums prior, because I'm a lazy fuck. But I would put both High Horse and Circle the Drain as, like, top 3 Wage War songs for me now. I really, really enjoyed both of these, and they're both very different. High Horse is definitely your typical kind of like metalcore Wage War song that you would expect. I don't think it really varies too much from some of their other heavier songs off of Pressure, in my opinion, like Fury, for example, being one of my favorites of theirs. But High Horse is just a metalcore heater from start to finish. It gets going and it doesn't stop. Crazy riffs, drums, guitars, vocals, the entire package of a metalcore song that you would want. And the one thing I really want to highlight from High Horse is in the chorus where it says, "Rip the flesh from the bone of the hand that feeds." God, that line is sick as fuck. That line is sick as fuck.
You know what this song is referencing? It's referencing all the Pressure haters.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Well, is that like a theory that you're throwing out, or is that like
I'm 90% sure.
I mean, I would guess if they're returning, like, quote, returning to form, and it sounds, I mean, this sounds like something off of Blueprints, I feel like, more than anything else.
I'd say Deadweight. Oh, this is the wrong song. I'm on the wrong song. Hang on, I'm looking up the lyric. Is this what you want? Is this what you need? Rip the flesh from the bone of the hand that feeds.
Yep, that fucking line is so good, dude. And the vocal delivery of it as well. Like, yeah, you can have a sick line, but sometimes the vocal delivery isn't there to match it. The vocal delivery is perfect for that.
Now that you say that and you've read those lyrics off, I think you're right. I doubt they'll ever confirm it, but...
It 100% is.
Man.
Well, not 100%, but...
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, see, they followed up something that was saying, theoretically, that, Pressure, Wage War's not heavy anymore, with a song that sounds like something off of Pressure, with Circle the Drain. Maybe Deadweight era as well, a little bit of Deadweight. I feel like lyricism, especially in Circle the Drain, is more like, it's like a Pressure vibe with Deadweight lyricism. But I think Circle the Drain, so I guess before I mention anything about Circle the Drain, I didn't like High Horse. I don't like Wage War when they're like just heavy. I feel like they were one of the first bands in like the modern metalcore era to do it, but I don't dig it. It's great workout music, but other than that, like I don't find myself revisiting it a bunch because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of variation in the vocal delivery. Like I can tell from the instrumentation when the chorus is hitting, but it doesn't feel like his vocal tone shifts enough to like distinguish it as a chorus on vocals alone. So I'm kind of just like, it's like 4 minutes of heavy. It's good if I want to headbang, but I don't want to listen to it on like a regular basis. As opposed to Circle the Drain, which vocally, everything, it sounds for all intents and purposes like a traditionally structured metal song, modern metalcore song, and I really, really enjoy it. We get Britain cleans, which we haven't had in a long time, to my knowledge. I think Deadweight was the last time, right?
Surely
am I
he had
losing
some
it?
Queens on Pressure. If Pressure was like their most radio rock
know.
album, surely he did some Queens on that album.
I feel
Well,
like
Cody.
Forget My Name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Forget My Name. He had
No,
some.
yeah,
your name
yeah.
is
I've listened to
Justin.
that song
Your name
recently.
is Justin, and I will not forget it.
yeah, yeah. You tell him, Tony.
Fuck.
Oh God.
Circle the Droid's good.
Yep. Top 3 Wage War song for me.
So
Ignoring the bullshit
Ignoring
I've been
poor
doing.
Tony.
No,
No.
ignoring the bullshit I've been doing
Yeah.
since you guys
You
have
have
been
to hear what I
talking,
have to-
just
what
posting
I'm about to
Droid
say.
gifts.
What's up, Jacob?
this is the first of many songs I'm gonna say, where if you listen to it as if it's not Wage War, I enjoy this song.
I listen to Circle the Drain as if it is Wage War, and I fucking love it.
Well,
You
this
know
is for
that's
me,
the-
okay?
To each their own.
I love High Horse. This song I absolutely hated when it came out for Circle the Drain. But yeah, I listened to it as if it wasn't a Wage War song, and now I like it. So
All you gotta do is close your eyes every time it comes on
Exactly.
shuffle. It's easy.
Yeah, Circle the Drain, I feel like it's very much like the single you expected to hear from Wage War in this album cycle.
Based on Pressure.
Yeah, based on
Yeah.
Pressure. And I think it is better than almost any of those, like, you name an equivalent song off of Pressure, and I think Circle the Drain is just better than all of them. I love this song. The anthemic backing vocals in the chorus. Having anthemic backing vocals in any chorus is literally just the key to my heart. I fall for that shit every single time. It does not miss me ever, and Circle the Drain is no exception. I love the chorus. I love the verses. I love the breakdown that we get. It's not the heaviest breakdown ever, but it's still a really solid breakdown if you ask me.
Yup.
I went from so I guess now's the point where I'll mention I'm gonna be seeing Beartooth and Wage War in concert this month, hopefully. I was moderately excited to see Wage War, knowing that I liked a handful of songs off of Pressure. I am now extremely excited to see Wage War live and hopefully hear both of these songs.
it's time for the river.
Oh.
Before you go, you have to go. You have to do the river.
What do you mean?
With the like T-pose looking thing.
Oh
yeah.
What'd you call it? You called it like seizuring Jesus or something.
Caesar Jesus.
Oh, that's a classic. I forgot about that one, but yeah, that's a good one.
So, really quickly, I'm gonna take the playlist and switch it up a bit, because speaking of that Beartooth Wage War concert, that concert also has support from Dragged Under, who have put out a new single called Brainwash Broadcast featuring Spencer Chamberlain of Under Oath.
There's a lot of connecting dots across this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
What?
is that a good
I looked at the playlist and was like, that's not next.
Well, look, I had a transition for the other one too, but this one felt more relevant once Jake brought up the Beartooth concert.
Yeah, yep.
So, how are you feeling about this one?
I think this is one of their weaker songs, but it's still good because Dragged Under are just a good band.
So, Jay, I don't like that you said this is one of their weaker songs, because I think this is probably the strongest song they've put out since they released their album last year.
Okay.
Can you guess my issue with this song?
Is it too cheesy lyrically?
Yes.
You know what this reminds me of? And I think it might be because of the name, but it reminds me of Motionless and Lights
Broadcasting from Beyond the
because that is
Grave.
cheesy. That is cheesy.
That's a
too.
great comparison. I think this song's better than that, though. I was pretty sick of Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave, Death Incorporated, after 30 seconds, probably. I don't know, that was over 2 years ago. But this song is definitely better than that.
I feel like that song is self-aware.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think that this one is necessarily attempting to be cheesy. It's just regardless
just
of whether
is.
or not I agree with the message, which for the record, maybe I do. But I want songs that are gonna be political to do it creatively. Oh, we got the dog. No,
Mark it down.
it's I'm talking like Native Blood by Silent Planet or like Black Mammoth by Fit for an Autopsy or even some of the stuff off the newest Architects album that's just like it's political and it's making a political statement, but it's done in a creative way that kind of hides it behind some of the lyricism. Whereas this is just like it's in there. And it is in your face political and it's just
Tune
like, you know.
into the media machine.
Yeah, I was just like, you know,
Oh, mark that
I
down.
instrumentally, I think this is great. And just see like the delivery, everything's fine. It's just from a personal standpoint, I'm not super digging how in my face the lyricism is. It's like it feels very basic and surface level. And if you have a statement like this to make, I feel like you kind of, at least from my standpoint, it would be better to do it in a way that's a bit more creative. But overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this.
I also think part of what makes the song a little underwhelming to me is that I don't feel like the feature does that much. It's fine. It just doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know how else to say it.
I'm not gonna lie, I listen to this in my car, and the Bluetooth in my car doesn't. If there's a secondary artist on Spotify, it doesn't show it. I didn't know there was a feature until I looked at the playlist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just straight up thought that it was just like kind of harsher vocals from Dragged Under, like we gotten in the past. So,
Mm.
which to get a feature from a big name like Spencer Chamberlain, and then I couldn't really pick it out
Yeah.
all that well, feels like kind of a wasted feature in my opinion. But what do you do?
I don't got
Just
too
happy
much
to get
more
a Dragged
add.
Under song.
So,
I'm digging.
yeah, Sam. I'm happy to have them back because it's been like a year since they last dropped anything, almost. So
Nah.
let's go back a little bit. We got Ice Nine Kills with a brand new song called "Assault and Batteries."
Nope.
Yeah, boo, boo.
Nope.
Is this a no from you, Justin?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, boo, boo.
We're gonna get you. I hate that part of the song. If it didn't do that shit, this would be like top 3 song of the month for me because I love everything else about it, but that part I can't get over it. It bothers me every time I listen to it.
Really, the part that like I like the song, obviously. But the part that gets me is EVILDLL.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It seems so
It-
uncreative.
It's what there's some other song last year that like spelled out letter Headhunter Dance Gavin Dance Bless This Mess.
Yeah.
that was good. Though.
Except yeah, Dance Gavin Dance actually did it good, whereas this I already don't really like Spencer's low vocals like that, and B saying EVILDOLL just doesn't work for me. What I will give this song is one of the catchiest and most memorable choruses of the month. This song came out and then I was at work the next day and it was stuck in my head for like a solid 2 hours straight. And I
Yeah.
couldn't like you will never grow up, you won't make it past 6. Literally just those 2 lines. Those 2 lines were stuck in my head for like goddamn 2 hours and I had to listen to the song like twice at that point. So if that says anything about how catchy the chorus of this song is, I don't know, man. I want to like this song more than I actually do because the chorus is so good, and I think the breakdown's solid too. But
Mhm.
otherwise, like the verses, just and Spencer's harsh, low vocals don't really work for me as per usual. My least favorite Ice Nine Kill songs are where they really get into that heavier register. Outside of Mary Xmas, that Mary Xmas just works for me. I don't know. I can't explain why it just does.
That's
but-
so crazy.
I was very excited when it opened up with "Hey Andy, time to play, motherfucker," and I was like, "Oh
That
yeah,
is-
Yeah.
oh yeah,
yeah.
we're in there." And then like
It's
there
Ice
was
Nine
just-
Kills time,
Dude,
baby.
Yeah.
that is
There
that is
were-
the perfect way to like open a concert.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There was a lot here to like, but the parts that I didn't are like overshadowing it for me. I
Mhm.
feel like. Also, I found out in a little fun bit of Assault and Batteries trivia that part of the reason why this might be stuck in your head with the chorus is because it's the same melody from the Toys R Us jingle. So like the melody was designed to get stuck in your head, so you'd go consume their product. So I think it was just like, yeah, you know what? Screw it, we'll take it.
That's wild.
So, but I mean, yeah, catchy chorus, just a little. There's some cheesy bits in here that are like, fuck yeah, I really dig that. Which again is still progression for me with this band. But there's other bits where it's just like, yeah, I can't handle this.
Yeah, so lyrically, I think this song is weaker than Hip to Be Scared. But like all the sound effects and everything like makes this song so interesting to listen to, like during the breakdown or after the breakdown. It's like and it's, I know in the movie of it's like Chucky running. I don't know how to describe it other than he's running. Yeah, and then like the breakdown into the guitar solo. Oh, I love that part too.
I am a fan of breakdowns into guitar solos, as we'll get to much later.
much later, indeed. Any last thoughts on Ice Nine Kills here before we move on?
No.
It's Justin.
Hey, Justin.
It's time for Edola, motherfucker!
Yeah, let's go.
Oh.
Good transition.
back.
Mark it down.
No! My transition, no!
No, you already got the transition done, bro.
Oh god, Edola are back with 2 new songs, Hidden Worship and Perennial Philosophy, off their upcoming album The Architect, out September 17th.
I low-key wish we only got one of these. And I don't care which
No.
one.
Shut your mouth.
Because both of them
these
are
really good. Shut your mouth.
Both of these are really good, and that's the problem. I didn't have enough time to appreciate both of them.
I think Jake's right. They shouldn't have, even if we got both of them, they shouldn't have released on the same day.
Here's the thing: Hidden Worship is really short.
This
If
is
they
the
were
intro
gonna,
track.
yeah. So if they were going to do it as a single, it only made sense to release it with another song.
So
then why not?
There
So
we
then
go.
why not do Hidden Worship and Counterfeit Shrines, which is the order that they are in the album?
Wait, that's the order they are on the album?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
Okay, well now hold on. I have to check something really quick. Okay, now this is a terrible mistake on their part. I have had, look, the end of Hidden Worship has that drum bit, which is so obviously as the intro track leading into another song, right? Why then on the track, like the single release thing where they put all the tracks together? I get that Counterfeit Shrines came out first. Why not put it after Hidden Worship for like that full experience? Because like the transition from Hidden Worship into Perennial Philosophy and like the single release thing on Spotify doesn't work. I was gonna say that like if they released a single with the intro track, then it should have been the one that it leads into. So I almost wish they would have let off with Perennial Philosophy and then released Hidden Worship and Counterfeit Shrines together.
They start off with Perennial Philosophy, and I am significantly higher on Edola because Perennial Philosophy is my favorite song of theirs by far.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good. It is really so good. I am nominating Perennial Philosophy as the most robbed song of the month for me, as the best song this month that I spent the least amount of time with.
That's such a bummer because it's so good.
I think Derek was right last month. Rise is it Rise? I think it's Rise.
Yes, it's Rise.
Rise is screwing them over,
They
especially
really
releasing them with 2 singles at the same time. No, he's after they did that, I was like, yeah, he's right.
Well, and I think also too, they fumbled the bag so hard with like the timing on everything and releasing that they were like, oh, you know what we'll do to a piece of fans? We'll drop 2 singles at the same time to make up for the fact that, you know, whatever. And they instead of picking the ones that went together, they picked out one that went with something that was already out Like if you're gonna release the intro track, release it with something that it leads into. Don't just release it on its own. Like that just spoils the intro and then doesn't give me anything else to do with it.
Mhm.
But I mean, all that to say that like both of these are really good. Perennial Philosophy is probably the least Idola song I've ever heard released by them.
But sounds.
But
I need
it
more.
sounds so good. So like,
I need more of this.
I will not be surprised if Perennial Philosophy is my favorite song off of the album.
we'll see. I'm interested.
Yeah,
to
we'll
see how
see.
it
'Cause there's a
goes.
lot of stuff.
He sounds like he
I-
doesn't dance Kevin Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, we stand Andrew Wells.
Mm-hmm. I believe in Andrew Wells' supremacy. I think he should take over Dance Gavin Dance, but nobody's ready for that conversation, so
Hold up.
Nobody was ready for that one. Not even us.
it's okay. For the next episode where it's just me with my therapist, I'll talk with them about it, see if they got any input.
I do want to
background
touch on
on
Hidden
Broco.
Worship a little bit more, because I feel like we have kind of glossed over it, that it is a fantastic opener.
Oh
Regardless of the fact that they fucked up the releasing of everything.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hidden Worship is a fantastic opener. I love the atmosphere. The atmosphere is fantastic. Hidden Worship is the exact type of atmosphere I'm looking for in an atmospheric opener. Overall, these two singles have me a lot more excited for this album than Counterfeit Shrines did. I think Counterfeit Shrines is the worst of the three singles.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yep.
I kind of did not expect that to sit so well. Huh.
Hivemind. Wait, Justin, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Hey!
Get off.
Hivemind bingo! I don't know if we've made a bingo yet, but
No, not yet.
any last thoughts on Idola?
No.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
My mic
There we
fucked
go.
up. I yelled fuck rise. My bad. One of these days I'm gonna get a new microphone, then it's over for you hoes.
All right. We got a new song from Blind Channel called Balboa.
Underdogs are a dangerous species, taking hits until everyone sees me. 'Cause every time you burn me to the ground, every time you kick me when I'm down, coming back for
You know we do. God, these
They
guys
are
are
back.
killing it.
Yeah, they're on a hot streak. I really hope they don't drop the ball like they did with that album last year, bro. Because Dark Side into Balboa, this band popping right now.
I am
this song
so
fucks.
happy that is it Sony Central or Century?
I think Century, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is Century because they're on the same label as Lorna Shore, which I think is kind of hilarious. I
Yeah,
don't know,
Century
from
Media.
whatever perspective you're looking at it from, it's funny.
I don't know, man. This was a good pickup, and whatever,
Oh, absolutely.
like whatever they did to like get the signing and then produce this sound and then Dark Side, like fuck, these guys got 6th place in Eurovision for Finland, and they fucking killed it. They killed it with this song. If this leads into like an album or sort, and it's just this sound just 12 times, yes, please.
I mentioned when we were talking about Wage War with Circle to Drain, where you get those anthemic backing vocals and you have opened the key to my heart. This song is in that same pile. The anthemic backing vocals of Like a Balboa stole me. It's so good. It's so good.
You heard it first, guys. Hivemind is gonna have anthemic backing vocals in their first song.
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah, I forgot we were starting the band, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, anyway,
I was actually like really shocked in how good the chorus was. I didn't
yeah.
on first listen I didn't think it worked quite well, but
This
when
is a song that got better and better the more you listen to it.
I agree, this is really good.
It has all of those Blind Channel quirks that kind of throw you off pace for the first time around, but then like a few seconds removed or like a few listens removed from it, you realize how cool that the production that this band has is. And it's just a stellar package. Blind Channel deserve all the hype they've been getting this year, and I'm super excited to keep following them and hope they keep it up with bangers like this.
They're at 1.6 million monthly listeners. What the fuck?
Really?
Carried
Yes.
by Dark Side.
Yeah, no, I'm
Dark
pretty
Side
sure
has gone
like,
viral.
Wow.
Yeah, before Eurovision, I think they only had like, I want to say under 100.
No, they had way more than 100.
It might have been like around 300,000. I definitely don't think they cracked 500,000 before
No,
Eurovision.
I feel like they did. Maybe I'm wrong though. I don't know.
By the way, this
Either
band
way,
fuck.
they have blown the fuck up and they deserve it. So
I agree.
the last comment that I want to make is I've touched on the chorus being really cool in the anthemic backing vocals, but the way that they transition from the bridge into the final chorus is so goddamn sick. Because I forget exactly how, but they have the bridge and then they end the bridge with the starting, like they keep the instrumentation of the bridge going while they interlude the beginning vocals of the chorus. So instead of having like a dropout and then doing like the intro to the chorus, they keep the bridge going. It just sounds so cool. I love it. I think I've gushed enough on this song. I think Justin has as well, but I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
I don't know.
Take the wheel.
Definitely not. Isotopes dropping another fucking banger with Die Alone.
Justin, you have me sold on Isotopes with this one.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Whatever they dropped in June was good, had me intrigued. I didn't really feel an urge to go back to it after like the second or so listen. I hear this song. This is fantastic. This is like in contention with Idola for like one of the best songs I heard this month that I did not spend enough time with. And
Yeah,
it is literally just fantastic from top to bottom. I'm gonna let you explain it because I think you can do it better than anything I can say.
Well, I was gonna wait to see if Derek and Tony had anything to say.
Who's that?
Who's Tony?
This is the guy above me.
Man, this song aggravates me, and it's not because of the music, because I feel like I'm cursed. Whenever I really like the aesthetic of a singles, like a song singles. Wait, what did I already say? Yo, this is what I'm talking about. I can't remember shit anymore. I lost myself mid-sentence.
That's another one.
Wait, is Derek having a stroke on the bingo card? You gotta be kidding me. I hate you motherfuckers. I'm so upset.
You didn't look at it? What the hell, man?
Well, I knew I'd subconsciously
free
try and do
space.
shit. Look, all right, free space. That's it. That's
No,
it.
but the free
I give
space is
up.
the
I
social
give
media
up.
plug.
Don't tell him. He's not gonna look at it.
Oh man. Okay, so let me try again, everybody. Please be patient. Whenever a single releases and it has album art with an aesthetic that I really enjoy, I am destined to not like the song. I've seen it happen so many times. Like, I love the color scheme and like the way that the cover art looked. And before I even listened to it, I saw it pop up and I'm like, damn it, I'm not gonna like this song, am I? And I was surprised that, given the curse of the single album art, that I liked it as much as I did, but something about this isn't clicking with me, and I'm just kind of like, it's okay. Like, it's good, but I don't want to go back to it, which makes me really upset because Isotopes is one of those bands that it's like, I want to keep my eye on them. Everything that they've released so far has been the same thing. It was the same thing with, I went back and checked out Flower, and I had the exact same thing. I'm like, damn, I love the aesthetic of this cover art. I'm going to fucking hate this song. And sure enough, I wasn't loving it, and I want them or another artist to finally put out a song with cover art that I enjoy, and the song is fire too, so I can just sit there and look at the cover art, appeased, listening to a song I really enjoy. So I want to love the song because of the cover art, and I don't, and I'm upset about it. I want to love an Isotope song, and I don't, and I'm upset about it. I just need this band to blow me away, and I'm waiting. I am waiting so patiently because I feel like they're so close, and I don't know what's not clicking.
Casket syndrome?
Not quite, but close.
Okay.
I I was the same boat, honestly, with Flower. Flower, I really didn't get into after like a couple listens. This one blew me out of the fucking water. I was very excited for it. Just multiple different parts of it. The opening, the guitar solo to start off. I wasn't too fond of the rap vocals at the start. But later on, once the lyrics kind of get repeated and get changed toward the end, where they replace release that rope because my destiny is not a noose to release that rope, you motherfucker, because it's not for you, and then go into like the final breakdown and like the closing of the song. That's like my favorite part. Plus, the breakdown when it goes patiently waiting for someone to pull me, and then it stops for a second, and then the unclean on
that
out.
part is so sick.
It's so good. And the chorus, every part of this song is really good. This still isn't my favorite song of the month, though.
Oh,
And
okay.
It's my second favorite, but it's good. It's really good.
I am very curious to know what
Wait,
your
actually,
favorite is.
I've got my bet. I'm
It's
typing in chat now.
yeah, pretty easy bet.
Wait.
Oh no, I know what it is now. I know what it is now.
Yeah, that's me. You just look at
yeah,
the playlist.
yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there in an hour.
Hey.
I don't have anything else to say, so we get to move on.
Yeah.
Landless have dropped their 4th single for their upcoming debut album. The song is called Revive, featuring Jay Kucera.
The secret is like a golden bloom. There to do this on my own. The end is there when I start to breathe. I'm never
Landless. There's less.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Landless are going to be dropping one of the most slept on albums of the year next month.
For sure.
And I don't know what I can say or do to get people on this band more than we already have done throughout talking about their singles in the past. Because this is just another fantastic song. Like, I don't know, man. This band's just sick. What more is there to say?
They only have 6,000 monthly listeners, and they're
Criminal.
killing it.
Every single song they've released, at least one of us has had something like really good to say on it. And I feel like the rest of us have thought it was at least good, if not great.
Mhm.
So like, again, like Jay said, what more can we do? Go listen to Landless. You know what? I am going to tentatively say that this is my favorite single of the
Me
4
too.
that I've released. Good.
This
Awesome.
shit.
Okay.
God,
I was kinda
this
scared
is
for a
so
moment
this is
there.
so hard for me because I love Borrowed Time and Nobody, and Revive is right up there with those. So like you on any wish day, you could ask me what's my favorite Landless single, and I will give you a different answer between those 3 every day.
No, this is destined. It's called Revive. That's an item in Pokemon.
Your point?
It's
There's a
Team
connection.
Aqua.
Oh, I see. We're getting the Team Aqua concept album. Oh yeah, we've got Waves. Okay. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Wait, no,
I'm very excited for this.
I hear it. We got Nobody, Borrowed Time, Waves, and Revive.
Uh-huh.
So
Where's the connection for
Wait.
Nobody in Borrowed Time?
Borrowed Time is we have Borrowed Time once like Team Aqua initiates Kyogre to drown the
Okay.
world.
Okay,
And then,
tell him.
and then after that, nobody's left. Everyone's dead.
Oh, let's go.
I blacked out for a
Okay,
second.
wait.
I have
Look at
no
the
idea what's
singles-
going on.
Look at the singles in this order and tell me it doesn't tell a story. We revive Kyogre, then come the Waves, everybody's on Borrowed Time, nobody's left. It's free.
It's free.
It's free. This is the order of the singles on the album.
Unfortunately, I need to ruin this. I need to ruin this arc.
I'm
Unfortunately,
losing my
I need to
mind.
ruin this arc. Unfortunately, how the hell does the album name Mirrors tie into this?
That's a
The
problem
water is
for when we
water
get
is
there.
reflective.
Fuck.
Fuck.
We tracked the colored boys. Pack it up. It's time to go home.
This went too far.
Who's gonna drop the better concept album next month? Sweep Token or Landless?
For real.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say. Landless fucks. Let's move on. Crown the Empire have dropped a brand new song called In Another Life featuring Courtney of Spiritbox.
I want to hear what everybody has to say first.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm calling dibs. I did not like this at all when it came out. I was
too.
not feeling it. I didn't.
too.
I wasn't digging it, and I thought, good God, if even a Courtney LaPlante feature can't save a song, it truly is doomed. And then I was like, I need to listen to this again. I don't think I gave this enough time. So I went back a couple days ago, and I was like, this is better than I remember, you know. And as of today, going back and revisiting the playlist and everything, I think the Courtney feature hits harder than I thought it did when I first listened to the song. And overall, I think that this is a really, really good song and probably one of my favorite Crown the Empire songs.
I encourage anybody who doesn't like this song to not listen to it as if it's a Crown the Empire song.
Okay,
Oh,
so
good.
what
'Cause
if,
I don't like it. I don't like it anyway.
what if you're me and I still haven't listened to Sudden Sky in full or any other previous Crown the Empire song, and this is
This
one of
is
my
heavy.
first
You're missing out.
exposures.
This is heavier
I'm
than
still
anything
not
off of
liking
Sudden
it.
Sky.
I am still not sold on this. I went back to it a handful of times. I didn't really love it when we listened to it that first night that it came out. I tried going back to it. I still don't really like the unclean vocals. The chorus is fine. The Courtney feature is great. Just the whole package doesn't really come together for me.
I think
Nah.
it's expectations that ruin it, to be honest. I'm expecting something that's like Southern Sky when I see Crown the Empire. And then it's not like Southern Sky, and I was disappointed. But then I listened to it as if it wasn't Crown the Empire. And then I'm not disappointed.
See, even then, not based on expectations, I still don't like the uncleans in this. I feel like it's too much of a certain thing. I feel like if there was a bit more cleans kind of added into, and the uncleans were used more emphasis instead of being the front face of the song, I feel like it would have been better.
I think it's not, for me, it wasn't that, at least upon initial impressions, it wasn't that there were like too many or too much of the uncleans. I just didn't really like the delivery on them. But I don't know what wasn't clicking with me or why it, after a couple more listens, maybe like a couple weeks after it released, that it suddenly clicked with me. But I'm just happy it did, because I want to love every single song that has a Courtney feature in it. And I wasn't happy with the Courtney feature. I wasn't happy with the song, and I would encourage anybody, don't listen to it as a Crown the Empire song if that's your expectation. But if you just don't like it, take some time off with it and then revisit it, because it worked wonders for me. I love this now. That was directed at you, by the way, Jake. I need you to take some time off with this and then come back and love it. So help me God.
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't, it's your
Understood.
second roof offense.
Also,
Strike
you
3, you're
should-
gone.
Also, you should listen to the Fallout.
True.
I just need to listen to
Iconic
Crown
album.
the Empire in general.
Yes.
Well,
Get in there.
definitely
Sudden
one of
Sky was
the-
top 10 album of 2019.
Definitely one of the biggest bands that I've slept on over the years of me getting into this genre of music. That I've just ignored their name forever, and I don't know why. I'll have to get to that in 4 years.
Speaking of people sleeping on bands, although this one isn't as big, our Mirage have put out a new single called Through the Night. This? Nope, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like ever since Remedy released, they've actually been on like on an upward rise in terms of their music production and structure. Because when Unseen Relations came out, a lot of it seemed kind of systematic, except for the Telly feature on Falling. I feel like that made that song what that is.
Best song on the album.
Arguable. I think
best.
I think Different Eyes was better. But this song's really good. top 5 for me this month, just because the instrumentals, our Mirage just really good instrumentals when they want to, and want to add a bit more variance to their songs. Because a lot of my issue with our Mirage is they do cleans, uncleans, cleans again, uncleans, and it just keeps going. It's a rhythm that you notice and kind of turns you off a bit from listening to them in a large stint.
Yep.
This I feel like you can kind of still hear it, but at the same time, it's a bit more emphasis on the clean vocals. So I feel like it is a bit more fresh. It also might just because they haven't released anything this year. With I think it was Remedy was released last year, so this is their first new song this year, and it's good. I like it.
My problem with Our Mirage is that it almost feels like I'm never going to dislike a song by them, but I don't know if they are ever going to release a song that I love. Like, the closest that I have to that is Falling, with the Telly feature off of that album from last year. But I cannot get out of the mindset of this band. Every single time that they release a new song, it always just sounds way too similar to the last one that I heard. And in general, it's just a ripple effect of like, hey, this song is like pretty good, but it's just another Our Mirage song. And then I go listen to another Our Mirage song that I thought I really liked, and it's just another Our Mirage song, and then it's just another Our Mirage song, and suddenly I don't really
Oh,
like
no,
Our
no, no.
Mirage. Yeah. It's frustrating because this band really does have something good going for them. But every single time they release something, it just sounds like something I have already heard. And even if it's good, I don't see much of a reason to go back to it, which is unfortunate.
So I felt the same about pretty much every Our Mirage song. This is the first one that's really clicked with me, and I don't really know why. The first time I heard it, I thought that maybe it was just like I was in a certain mood, or it was like first time song syndrome, because I have a lot of times where I'll hear a song for the first time, like, oh, this is really good, and then I'll go back and listen to it. I'm just like, no, it's not as good as I thought it was. Made a good first impression, then kind of fell off. This for me left a very good first impression, and it didn't fall off. It's really stuck with me. Again, like you mentioned, it doesn't necessarily, I feel like, have anything super unique about it that it's like, oh, I can't get this from any other band, you know. There's no super unique vocal delivery. Everything is just good about this band, and I feel like with this song they've achieved something that's great. And again, I could not tell you why. I don't think it's objectively any different from any of the rest of their songs, but for whatever reason this one clicked with me, and I would like a lot more of this. Please
Yeah.
give.
I would like a lot more of their songs to click with me as well.
Look, just put Through the Night like 7 times. Give me the EP. It's fine.
Or album.
Oh, true. Actually, I feel like after September I'm gonna be albumed out. I know, like last month I was like, stop giving me EPs, I want albums, but like I've changed my mind.
Stop giving me
September's
albums.
left me with PTAD, post-traumatic album disorder. I don't want any more. I want EPs. Bring them to me.
I'm gonna take that phrase in the back pocket for future use. Anyway, any last thoughts on Our Mirage here?
None that I can think of.
Nope.
Alrighty, we got The City Is Ours dropping yet another single for their upcoming album. This one's called Regret About Me. And I almost feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm getting a little bit tired of the singles, and I just want to hear this album already. There's a part of me that knows that we're going to get a 6th single before this album drops in October, and I'm a little upset about it. But at the same time, it makes sense, I guess. I don't know, man. They have been very hit or miss with the singles. And it's been like a roller coaster, because they started with Violent, which I really liked, and then Como was a bit of a drop. Death of Me was a bit of a drop. Then Dangerous was really good, and then this one's kind of just a little bit forgettable too. I don't know. I don't know. I still am looking forward to the album, but with 3 of the 5 singles kind of not really hitting, my expectations are not where I wanted them to be going into the album as we're getting closer and closer to it. I don't, it's all right. It has a fun chorus, I'll give it that. But other than that, it's like I'm at a point where like I have convinced myself that I don't really like the song that much. And even if there are parts of it that I do like, the moment that I hear like the opening lines of the song, it's like, oh, I'm listening to this song. Why don't I just go listen to another song, you know? That's
Yeah.
kind of how I'm feeling about this one, unfortunately.
I enjoy the song. The uncleans feel out of place. For
Yeah,
me.
I think they feel out of place on this song more so than any other song they've ever released. And not that they're bad, but they're just they don't fit.
Yeah.
They don't fit the song, I guess. I think I much would have preferred them to just stick with their clean vocalist for most of this song. But I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't really have that much to say, and I don't think you guys. Doesn't sound like you guys were super into it either. So
Derek,
What?
what do you have to say about The City Is Ours?
It's another "The City Is Ours" song.
Yep.
It's what we were just
Indeed it
talking
is.
about. We were just talking. It was just we what? Oh, It was
Come
what
on,
we were
I'm
just talking about. Stop. I'm trying my best, man.
out.
It was what we were just talking about with Our Mirage, where I feel like every song this band puts out, not necessarily that it all sounds the same as something else that I could get, but I enjoy everything I'm hearing and I'm waiting for something to click. So, fingers crossed that the upcoming album that I'll finally get something that clicks. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm keeping my expectations high but tempered. If I can even get one song that's on the same level of quality as these but has that whatever X factor that clicks with me, I'll be happy.
From Ashes to New have dropped Quarantine Chronicles Volume 2 and released a brand new song from it called Light Up the Sky. This is one of my favorite From Ashes to New songs in a hot minute. I think
Yep.
this is better than just about anything from that album last year. It's better than that song they released a few months back. I forget the name of it because it's literally that forgettable.
Yeah.
This song bangs. The instrumentation is fantastic. The contrast between the two vocalists is as good as ever. The chorus hits super hard. You get a pretty sick breakdown at the end too. From Ashes to New nailed the whole package here.
Dude, this is filling the Siler-shaped hole.
Okay. I was
you
going
don't
to
think
make a
so?
comparison to a different band.
Is it?
But
Okay, I
yes.
think I know who it is. But go ahead.
Yes. I'm gonna say it outright. This type of song structure is what I wish the Afterlife album had been.
Not who I was thinking.
I would love. Okay, the rap vocals, or rap style vocals in From Ashes to New are like very hit or miss for me, but I consistently really like the cleans. So I think that they did a great job with Light Up the Sky. It's definitely my favorite song off the EP for sure. And just a very good song overall. I think it's just the blueprint for what I feel like a lot of other bands that do this style should be following. But I mean, at the same time, you run the risk of it getting old and overdone. But I don't know. I really liked, for whatever reason, the way that the structure of this song came across and like the way it was delivered. And I'm just like, wish every rock band with rap vocals in it would kind of follow this. Except Nevertell. Shout outs Nevertell. They put out nothing but bangers. But other bands that I'm not sold on, they got to get in there. They got to be following the From Ashes to New wave and expanding upon it.
It feels like From Ashes to New are kind of already like front runners in the genre of like rap rock.
Yes.
But people need to be following it more.
See, okay, so this is interesting, is that I wish that the people who are branching out and not as succeeding, for me, on a totally subjective level, would kind of rein it in and become more like From Ashes to New before they do anything else. And at the same time, I wish From Ashes to New would branch out. I feel like they've gotten too comfortable with their sound.
That
Like
I think I could agree with that. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think this definitely sounds like a From Ashes to New song, just done really fucking well. But I would
Yeah.
love to hear them try out some other shit because they have all the talent in the world. I feel like they have all the pieces to really get creative with what they're doing, and I think you can make the argument that they have gotten a little. I don't want to say complacent, but they have found a sound that works for them, and they're kind of sticking to it.
Yeah. Yeah, the bands that are being creative with this style for the most part, I feel like haven't created their foundation yet for what they were going to sound like. So they're branching out without ever having really started anywhere, as opposed to From Ashes to New, who started somewhere, branched out, and you know what? I think complacent's a good word. They're very comfortable with their sound. They're doing it well, and they've done it well enough at this point that I'm like, I want to see some more experimentation come around. But you know, I I say all that like this isn't just a really good song,
Yeah.
and From Ashes to New have put out probably their best material in a while here.
Speaking of experimentation,
Oh yeah,
The Plot and You have dropped a brand new song off their upcoming album Swan Song called Enemy.
Bass.
Yes.
holy bass.
Bass.
Lots
Now with
of
extra
bass.
Better or not as good as Face Me,
Better.
Not as good at.
Justin.
I'm not into this.
Coward.
This is
Yeah,
better.
probably.
Derek?
I think
Or are we
so
on the same-
too.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
so too. But I will say that Face Me has grown on me a lot since it released. So we'll see come September 17th.
My same gripes that I had with Face Me still exist. Moving on.
I think the production on this is fantastic, as it was on Dispose, as it was on Face Me, as it is here. Land and Tour sounds as great as ever. I feel like I want to say more good about this song than I can. I just like
Yeah.
really, really enjoy it. And I feel like it just comes down to production choices and the fact that Land and Tours sounds really fucking good, and they've made, like we're talking about From Ashes to New, they've made that experimental decision. They went with only bass, and it sounds great and works just as well as anything else. This band can do no wrong, I feel like, with these two singles and the last album.
I am still not fully convinced on this band a few months out of
Wrong.
hearing Dispose for the first time and
Wrong.
hearing both of these singles. I'm still not fully convinced. I like it. I want to love it. I have not found any reason to love this band yet. We'll get there.
I think it's really interesting to me, and this is like totally anecdotal, but I saw Lana Tours live on a Tillian concert in 2019, and he was so fucking blasted. Like, I mean, this dude was on a lot of shit, and he just kept moaning "daddy" into the microphone in like the middle of songs, and it was just like, I don't like this guy. It was like one of the few experiences where I feel like the live performance didn't sell me on like a band that I wasn't quite as into or an artist. But I then went out and checked out his songs because I'm like, what the fuck is he moaning daddy in the middle of the recording for? And then it wasn't there. And I was disappointed. I'm like, well, did I find the wrong song? And then I just kept listening to more of Land and Tours material, which put me down the Land and Tours rabbit hole. And now here I am, really enjoying The Plot in You, and the EP that he put out is one of my favorite of the year. So it's like that picture with like the small domino, and the dominoes get progressively bigger. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the small domino is like Land and Tours doing, I don't fucking know, ketamine. And then you got the big domino, and it's me being excited for a new Plot album. Speaking of bands that have decided to sell me, Boston Manor have a new single out, their first since their last album, called Carbon Mono.
Don't ever doesn't change. You're still the same. Give me direction, give me direction. 'Cause you only made things worse.
I am having to do some serious brain shifting to the fact that Boston Manor went from releasing one of the most forgettable albums of 2020 to releasing one of my favorite songs of the month. In a matter of, like, just a snap of a finger. I don't fucking know, man. Like, I might just have to revisit Glue. Maybe I was just not on the wavelength at the
don't
time.
wanna
No,
revisit
go listen to
Glue.
Welcome to the Neighborhood.
Yeah, that's still on the to-do list. I almost I was actually gonna do that, but then you convinced me to listen to Dispose. So anyway, yeah, this song is sick. I feel like it has so much more angst and energy
Mm-hmm.
compared to everything off of Glue, and it is so good here. The guitar tones in the verses are beefy, and it builds into a sick chorus and a sick breakdown, and overall, just a sick song. Yeah, this is one of my favorite songs of the month. I mean, it's probably, it's like just shy of top 5 for me. And I never would have expected to have been saying that like a month ago before, like when I was like, how forgettable that album was from last year. I forgot what my favorite song from that album even was. But the first like 2 songs that pop into my head, like, oh, Boston Manor, like, what songs were on that album last year? Like, I had to go back and look at the track list to remember that Everything Is Ordinary was my favorite song from that album. To go from being that forgettable in my head to releasing one of my favorite songs of the month, just well done to them for selling me on this.
I am at the stage of acceptance that Boston Manor has changed their sound
Yeah.
to something heavier than I would like, but I like the song. And I think, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I think I need to revisit Glue.
I had the same thought. I agree with Jake that for the most part, Glue was very forgettable. I mean, there are a couple that I enjoyed off of that. Plasticine Dreams and Playing God, namely. Favorite Boston Manor song since Stick Up off of Welcome to the Neighborhood. This reminds me a lot of a band called Nothing But Thieves, who kind of makes the same style of music, also from Britain. They put out a really good album last year, which has a lot of stuff similar to this. Kind of that, it's like alt rock, but it feels a bit darker and maybe a little bit heavier. I'm sure there's some specific like genre name for it that I just don't know, but yeah, no, I wasn't expecting when I got around to the song to like it as much as I did after hearing Glue, but I was very, very happy with this. I will be revisiting a new Boston Manor song very frequently for the first time in a long time.
Yep. I don't know if there's too much more to say here. So
Can I
yeah,
do it,
Derek,
Jake?
take the wheel. Take the wheel.
Let's go. Speaking of songs I'll be revisiting, Hurt You is out, the newest single from Spiritbox. The last, I believe, before their newest album, Eternal Blue, debut album, out September 17th.
That fucking day, man.
That riff,
That
riff.
Yeah, that fucking riff too. This song, this is top 3 song of the month for me. This is my second favorite single coming into the album, behind Circle With Me. And I don't think it's particularly close. Like, the gap between Hurt You and Circle With Me compared to the other, 3 singles that there were. There's a pretty big gap between those two. This song, yeah, this is Holy Roller, Constance, Circle With Me, Secret Garden, and Hurt You, I believe. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think it's crazy that the turnaround I have had on this band. When I first heard Holy Roller, and I was like, this is kind of too heavy for me. I wasn't really liking it. And then I hear Constance, and I'm like, okay, this is solid. And then Circle With Me comes out as one of my favorite songs of the year. I'm at a point where I think if any band is going to top my current album of the year, it might just be Spiritbox. I did not think I would be saying that at the start of this year. But I am fully convinced on Spiritbox at this point, and September 17th can't come soon enough, so this can be the first thing I'm blasting at midnight.
You know, we were talking earlier about how Rise kind of fucked over Edola. In that same vein, they have done wonders with Spiritbox.
Absolutely.
I think, if I remember correctly, when I first got into them, it was right before they signed to Rise. And they were at, I think, like 220,000 monthly listeners or something like that. They're now at 620,000 monthly listeners.
Wow.
The reach that they've had with these new songs and with the marketing from Rise has been insane.
That's true.
I don't think it's not an understatement to say that Spiritbox has been the breakout band of the past year.
I mean, they literally just won heavy breakout band of the year at like some major music award thing. So, you know, I think that's really a testament to their success. I think it is, well, see, I want to say that, okay, so let me put this out here first. I think that their success is also their greatest weakness, because I was going to say that this feels very generic to me. Like, I feel like we got the generic song with Circle With Me. That's totally like, you know, what you would expect from a metalcore thing, you know, verse, chorus, breakdown, final chorus, whatever. For this one, I feel like it's sort of the same thing, done maybe not quite as well as Circle With Me. But in saying that, most of this was written before they found success. Like, I think most of these songs were written a year or two ago. So, but anyway, this is probably, maybe outside of Secret Garden, my favorite chorus of all the singles. And simultaneously, I think this is my least favorite single overall.
Damn.
My-
Oh, go ahead.
Finish
I was
what
just gonna say that it's not just because it's like a bad song, because it's one of my favorite of the month. It just feels like we got that, you know, verse chorus breakdown type song already with Circle With Me, and from a band who feels like, especially on their debut EP and like the singles they released before this album cycle, even with something like Constance and Secret Garden, they have the capacity to be really, really creative. And Hurt You feels like it's shattering that expectation of they're taking modern metalcore and making it their bitch in like a very spread out way that's going to create some cohesive album. Whereas this kind of muddles that expectation a little bit. Not that it's a bad song or anything, just like it feels a little too safe. It's Spiritbox, so I'm going to love it because this band does nothing but put out bangers. But I was just hoping for something a little more than what sounds like it was almost built for Serious Octane.
That's
don't
fair. That's fair.
So, my one gripe with this song,
Okay.
otherwise, is the break, or before the break. It feels like it's missing lyric.
Yeah. I'm
And
with
then-
They
you.
like distort the lyrics. Like, I think there's lyrics there, but they distort them to where you can't understand what they are. In a way.
I think it's just her screaming, no?
Yeah, it's just dysfunction. I don't think there's any lyrics there. It's just the same electronic that's throughout
Yeah.
the whole song.
And there's like some backing screen, like her going, ah, ah, ah.
My favorite pre-breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just screaming before it, and then she screams dysfunction, and it feels like it's like they had something there, and then they didn't like the lyrics or something, and they just took it out and just left. That's how it feels.
Yeah. This, to me, more than anything else, feels like a live song. I think.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah,
song
I,
is bang
I
live.
saw a video of this. I saw a video of
Oh,
this live.
the pit. I hope the pit was fucking nuts. If it doesn't, then whoever was there did a disservice to this
Yeah.
band.
This is kind of like a God of Fire kind of thing.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's at least for me an apt way to describe it, because this is something that I'll listen to regularly, but I feel like hearing Dysfunction before the breakdown, the way it's like presented, you know, it feels a little just kind of like there could be something more, but hearing the crowd energy, everybody gets ready for the circle pit while the electronics build, and
He's
yeah,
during that time, she's
yeah.
spreading them, like, telling them to spread out. Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
you're right.
she grabs the mic, leans forward, picks it up a little bit, and yells dysfunction. That shit would go
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. It is a live song.
Anyway, Spiritbox is fucking nuts. Go listen to all their songs. They got a new album out in 2 weeks, like every other fucking band we're talking about. So
this is the preview for a September recap, basically.
yeah, pretty much.
Basically. All right, we got
Speaking- Oh,
we got Asking Alexandria back
do.
again.
Alone
With-
again.
Yes. Back again. Alone again. Yes. That's the name of their new song off of an upcoming album coming out October 1st. Yes.
same as Wage War.
So, following up
Totally.
Like a House on Fire. I don't think
Mhm.
I was expecting something this good.
This is a banger.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
I have one complaint with this song. One. And it's that the intro and Alone Again are two separate songs. I like if this comes on in my playlist while I'm in the car, I'll like
Spotify needs to add that already.
I'm saying the way that I would link to Better Days and Prayers so fucking fast would be incredible. Like if this comes on, Alone Again comes on in my playlist on my car, I like have complete disregard for traffic laws and like whip out my phone and put intro into the queue and then like shift back so it'll play. Because that intro into this is so good. It's
Yeah.
so seamless. It's such a great build up. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's like Phinehas in a sense, where you get the instrumental build up into like anthemic and then the break. Oh, it's so good. Danny sounds as good as ever. This chorus is so fucking catchy. It's an earworm and a half. The solo's great, the instrumentation, everything about this. This is such an about face from Like a House on Fire, which I feel like had some high moments on it, but overall was just really weak and uninspired. This blows every single thing on that album off like out of the water.
It
so
feels like they
good.
recognized that Like a House on Fire like didn't get the fan reception they wanted, and then they go to the studio, they just make kind of what this feels like, kind of fan service almost. Like this is what the fans want from Asking Alexandria. I mean, outside of like going back
Well,
to like their like 2011 sound and the black and whatever, but
I have a theory, and it may be thinking too much into it and giving the band more credit than they wanted.
Yeah, this is Danny Warsnop we're talking about.
Danny Warsnop's playing 4D chess. I think Like a House on Fire was as long as it was because it was meant to be shit. I think, and
It's
this
a house
is,
on fire.
yes, exactly, and then some, like a dumpster fire. I think that album was meant to have stuff like The Violence and Anti-Socialist, and They Don't Want What We Want. They were just like, they were all right, but they were meant to be radio songs, and they bring in a newer audience that, may have been more in the vein of wanting something from their 2017 self-titled, but those songs didn't really get super popular outside of, I think, Into the Fire, which got used as some like skateboard game soundtrack. I don't know. Anyway, they get the fans in with, the couple catchy songs off of what was kind of a terrible album. They piss off the existing fans by releasing a bad album, and then the redemption arc. We get Alone Again, which is really good, has great instrumentation. I've seen so many people on Scene Twitter say that it's like their favorite Asking Alexandria song in a long time. So not only have you reappeased the old fans, for the most part, after releasing a terrible album, but you then got something that also the new fans who came in from the popular songs off the bad album are going to enjoy as well. I think that this was 4D chess, on part by the band, to expand their listener base. And I'll stand by it. I'll die on that hill.
I encourage you to listen to this song as if it's not Asking Alexandria.
Fuck's sake. Man.
that should be on the bingo card, man. How many times you said it this episode?
I think what it comes down to is whether or not you like their old material. I think that's it. Because
I
you like their
agree.
older stuff, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't. I think that their self-titled is their only like overtly front to back good
I like
album.
the self-titled too.
Oh, well, okay. So I started on the actually not to lie, I started on the Black, which I think is their worst album by far. And I
True,
know that
but
might
Black
yeah.
is a good song.
I don't know. I don't like their older stuff. I really like Danny's vocals. And so if we've got Danny vocals with instrumentation that doesn't sound overproduced and uninspired, I'm here for it. And that's exactly what this is. I'm beyond happy with this.
You know what else I'm beyond happy with?
Tell me, Jake.
This new song from Motionless and White called Time Bomb. This song took me a couple of listens to really get into, but this song bangs. This song genuinely bangs. It's a time bomb. It bangs.
I see
Took
what
me
you
a-
did there.
That took me a second. I was like, what the fuck?
Time bomb go boom. Kaboom.
Well, that's what I was thinking
Kaboom,
of. I
bang.
was thinking of like boom. I wasn't thinking about a bang. A
okay.
bomb goes off. I'm not thinking of a bang. Bang is like a small like car engine fire or like a grenade. And then there's boom.
Either
Now,
way,
in this song,
yeah.
does the breakdown go boom?
There is only one breakdown that goes boom.
True. But if there could be another.
Yeah, it's True the Hellfire.
No.
Yeah.
There is only one breakdown that goes boom, and it is off of
I'm sorry.
Amaranth's album from last year.
That's sacrilege on my part. My bad, my bad, my bad.
If there was like an honorable mention, I guess you could give it to this one. But there is only one song where the breakdown goes boom.
Yo, that's that. And you know what? That's on me. That's on me. I'll learn from my mistakes and correct it for the future.
Thank you.
Ricky's vocals throw me off.
Yep. That's what threw me off too. I was very thrown off by the Queen vocals at first, but I have listened to the song enough to where I really enjoy them, and I'm not put off by them anymore. And I think I almost like them. I think it's a good thing to be making use of like the talent that you have across your band. Like, yeah, Chris has a fantastic voice for his Queen vocals and his harsh vocals throughout the song. But I think like you throw in Ricky's Queen vocals here and there, and I think it's only going to make the band better.
So
I just think there's an adjustment period where like this is the first time that they've really tossed Ricky into the ring and like gave him more of a major role in the vocal department.
and that is why I will say, I encourage you to listen to this song as if it is not Motionless and White.
You didn't say it. I was going to. That was the exact mindset that I had to do in order to like the song. Because if I'm expecting, Chris Motionless vocals here, then Ricky's vocals are going to throw me off. If I don't, and I go into it with no expectations, and I'm just like, Ricky's here. What's up, Ricky? Then I like this a lot more. The chorus is just such an earworm.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yep. One of the best Motionless and White choruses, if you ask me. I also want to give a shout out to the way that the song opens with like, it's a pretty long build up, but then it finally hits and fuck, it's good.
This is not, at least to my understanding, on the upcoming Motionless and White album, which feels wrong.
Maybe
Apparently, what? Go ahead.
I'm just thinking maybe it's because it's so different.
Maybe. But the only explanation that I have for it, if my intel is correct, is that this is meant to get Motionless and White back in people's heads, back in people's mouths, get word of mouth going around that, Motionless and White is back.
2 million monthly listeners.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's been like 2 years since they did anything, right? I mean, they released those like remixes of various songs, but
They still 2
They
million.
dropped
that's more than
yeah.
it was
they
that
dropped Creatures
died.
X to the Grave last year.
True.
So, I don't know.
They did that.
well, I think that this ended up on Octane or something, so maybe they put it on the radio. I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize again, if the information I have is correct, that this is not going to be on the album, and instead we're getting a lead single for the next album sometime in the next couple of months. So, I don't know. We'll see. But with a song this good, it feels weird not to have it on the album. We'll see. Time will tell.
True.
Speaking of good songs,
Yes.
Silent Planet have a new single called Panopticon.
Me saying yes, there was not a reference to me saying that I like this song.
I
It's
was
just
gonna
that-
say you surprised me for like
speaking
0.2
of good
seconds.
songs, I was
wait.
going to say like yes, we have talked about a lot of good songs. Your point.
Jake, why do
Hi.
you not like this?
Vocals.
Say
Eh.
it. Say it.
Vocals. Eh.
But what are they?
I hate you.
Do it.
I don't even know if it's the vocals are too heavy because they aren't.
Ah!
Thank you.
It's not even that the vocals are too heavy for me, like throughout the whole song. I think closer to the end of the song they kind of do, but in general, just the vocals, eh. And that's kind of how I felt about any song that you've ever had me taste test for Silent Planet.
You know, we tried. We did our best.
We got the bingo. It's okay. Or not the bingo, but we got it on the board. On the sheet.
Jacob, I want to test the waters on something.
Mhm.
This is tentatively my favorite Silent Planet song.
No shot.
Okay, well then what is my favorite Silent Planet song?
Your favorite Silent Planet song is Trilogy.
That is a close second.
It's not my favorite Silent.
Ah, well.
It's up there. Trilogy's up
I'm sorry, you're supposed to give me a recommendation. I'm looking at their. This feels weird. This isn't, I guess, related to the song, but why are they only at 160,000 monthly listeners? The way, I guess I've just been surrounding myself with the right people, because the way I've heard this band talked about, I would have sworn they were at like 500,000. I thought they were at like Fit for a King level, or like maybe slightly less. I don't know.
This band is not very accessible because of their. I talked about this like when we talked about Trilogy last year. Because the way they do their lyrics,
Yeah.
it's all footnotes. This song is not. It seems like they're departing from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did do it on Trilogy either, so it seems like they're finally departing from that style of lyrics. But yeah, this song bangs. And did
Yeah,
you know
it's-
there's no guitar in this song?
What?
There's no guitar.
It's
Bullshit.
another bass only.
This
all
is all
bass.
bass? That breakdown at the
All
end is
bass.
all bass?
It's all bass.
What the fuck? All right, hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to the end. No. You're kidding. That's fucking crazy. I thought it was just a guitar turned way down. That's bass? I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. I will never hear this song the same. My respect for this band and this song just increased tenfold. That's crazy. Holy shit. Wow. I feel like this is like top 3 moments
You have ascended.
in my life where I
You
feel
have
like
ascended to a
genuinely
higher
surprised
point of
for
being.
something. That's why it's like number 3.
I'm disappointed because I found that out before I heard the song.
Oh no. I think that this is right up there with me finding out Santa wasn't real. That's like my bad, dog. I didn't have to be the one. Didn't want to have to be the one to tell you, but oh fuck, yeah. Wow. That's got me shocked. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm excited. That's changed the way I'm gonna listen to this song forever. I hope you know that. I'm gonna sit there in awe and appreciation on a whole new level.
Fun
You officially made this
Another
my song of the
fun
month.
I think we're getting an album this year.
Fingers
November, right?
crossed.
We're
I
running
think
out of
so.
time for one, to be honest.
True. Yeah. Shit. There's only 3 months left in the year. What the hell? How'd that happen? Who the fuck knows?
Time.
You know what I do know is that Foxera are back with a new single, "Away From Me," featuring Kellen Quinn.
You are the one thing. You're leaving everything empty. Take heaven away from me.
How you
I'm
feeling?
text-
How you feeling on this
I'm
one?
testing
Derek?
the room. I'm testing the room.
You
How
testing
am
the
I
room?
feeling? How am I feeling?
Yeah.
I'm not sold.
I'm not sold either.
I'm
Oh
also not
no!
sold.
Oh no! Okay. I want to ask if you guys have the same problem with this song. Actually, I got two. I got two problems with this single and the last one. Number one, I think that the guitars are mixed too low and are not pronounced enough compared to the vocals and the other instruments. And number two, I think that both this single and the last one are about a minute too long.
I will agree with point 2.
Discuss.
I would need to re-listen to both songs to agree with point 1 in that the guitar mixing needs some changes. But I definitely agree that I think both of these songs run way longer than they need to, and I think it's to their detriment, unfortunately. Because the talent and potential is so clear.
Mm-hmm.
But the length is it really is just too much.
I want to compare this to the first two Galleons albums, where it's the same sort of thing for me. I think that the mixing on one given instrument is too low, and the songs are too long for what they are. There's not enough instrumental or vocal variation, I feel like, in these songs. Not that they're not good, like the vocals, but I feel like there's not enough variation in them to justify the runtime.
See,
So it
that's
feels
my,
like, yeah, it's kind of one-noted for a little bit too long.
that's my problem. The vocals, there is no, like, barely any variation of any in it. It all
And especially
blends
when you have a
too
Kellen
well.
Quinn feature.
No,
Like,
it's yeah. It's
Kellen
just,
Quinn
no.
is an elite feature, as we have mentioned many a time before
Oh,
on
yeah.
this podcast. But in this song, it's less elite because of who he's paired with. The contrast between the two is just not enough to make the feature work to the extent that I would want it to.
Yeah, I feel like I expected more with Michael in the band now. I don't know. I want to like this project now more than I do. And it's very upsetting to me because it's not like other bands where it's like, oh, I want to like this, I don't know what's clicking. With this band, I want to like it and I know what's not clicking, and that is infinitely more infuriating
Yeah.
because I know that there's nothing I can change about it.
Yeah.
If you gave me some debut single with like a soaring chorus, the Weedly Weedly guitars in the background, and it was like 3.5 minutes, chef's kiss, I'm sold, I'm in there, count me as a Fox Sarah fan. Now I'm still waiting for something to blow me away because I know they've got a ton more songs in the vault, but it's just like I want to feel higher given the talent of the people involved and the name of their new singer who holds a lot of weight for me personally as somebody who liked Michael Relocate. I think my expectations have been too high. I think I need to lower them and try again. We'll see. Fingers crossed for something that I like here in the next coming months.
Moving on, we have Census with a brand new song, Tilts, aka Two in Love to Stay.
You ever feel like you're throwing your life away, but you're too in love to stay? Maybe I miss you.
Redemption arc.
Redemption arc
Holy
indeed.
shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
After the catastrophe that was Go Ghost Like Danny Phantom, we have, for me, a top 5 single of the month.
Huge.
Questionably top 3. Maybe. No, never mind. I lied. Top 5.
Yeah.
But, jeez. I mean, what a turnaround.
This is the potential that this band has always had to they kicked it up. They made use of all of the growing potential that they have had over the past year. And this is the peak of it. I mean, I don't know if this is my favorite Census song. It's still close between this and Sunbeam, because I still really fucking love Sunbeam, which we talked about last year. But in comparison to Ruin My Life, this is miles better. And it is not close. I think the biggest surprise for me is I did not expect them to go as heavy as they did. I didn't know that they could do breakdowns. Like, god damn. And I mean, let alone, I didn't know they could do breakdowns. I didn't know they could do good-ass breakdowns like this either. I I mean, Justin,
this
I
is
feel
not
like
the
you.
Go-Ghost like Danny Phantom band.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe it.
Justin, you were the one that first found these guys, if I'm not mistaken, right? You listened to
Yes.
some of their earlier stuff. Did they ever go this heavy in those earlier songs? I never
No,
went back to
definitely. Maybe in the Curse of the Black Pearl and Placebo. I haven't gone back to that early. In the rankings, I would say for Census, this is my second favorite. I still like The More You Pour better. But that's just because I feel like there's a lot of variation until you get to the breakdown. But otherwise, like, yeah, you guys are on point. These guys killed it.
Right now is the best time to get on the census hype train.
Do it.
There is no better time to get on the census hype train, especially after last month.
I'm gonna slow you down there, partner, and just gonna say, wait until they drop another one before you get on the train. Because if they can do like a heel turn as much as they did with Ruin My Life to
Oh,
this,
true. I didn't think about that.
yeah,
Okay.
I would be a little bit careful. I'm optimistic, but man, I'm watchful.
Retracting my statement. Tickets for the train have been delayed an extra month. Let's move on, Justin. I don't. It's not just go, Justin. Now's your time.
Yeah.
You know what I was trying to say.
Keep Me Alive. New band we're talking about, posting their second single ever, Vibe.
Wake up, we're frozen. Together in a moment. Feel the glow existing.
And yeah, this is
Yeah.
my favorite single of the month. There's no contention. It's so good. It's got a really good blend. The cleans I like. A little bit of the rap vocals, not a lot to make it like From Ashes to New or even Never Tell. And a fucking sick ass breakdown, like a really good one. The only thing I will knock this song for and why it's not my favorite song of the month is the lyrics. I feel like the lyrics could do a little bit more work. But
I mean, hey, given all the
It's their
praise you
second-
just
yeah.
given that you gave that much praise and this is their second song ever,
oh yeah,
there is some clear potential going on with this band.
Yeah, these guys are killing it for just their second. Hell, their debut single, Parasite, was also really good. I think it came around the same time as some other stuff, so I really didn't get too into it. But man, this one blew me out of the water. I am a huge fan of these guys now.
I am not nearly as high on this as you are.
I-
Derek, I assume you were about to say the same exact thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one thing that's kind of holding me back here is I'm not loving the heavier vocals. I think the chorus is really solid. I like the rap verses. It's the heavier vocals and the breakdown. I mean, the breakdown is fine, but it's the heavier vocals and that kind of whole section that I'm not sold on. I'm for whatever reason, there's some metalcore harsh vocals. Sometimes they just work for me. Sometimes they don't. I think this is just one of those situations where it just doesn't work for me, and there is no reasonable law or explanation for why.
See, my problem with heavier vocals is if they're too guttural, I feel like it's really hard to understand what they're saying. This one is just kind of the right amount of melodic meets, that's slightly kind of guttural. There are lines in the lyrics that you kind of notice he goes really fast and he almost like skips over. And if you go like back to the lyrics, you see him listen to it. But I can definitely understand that. If that's holding you back, I'm gonna really suggest giving Parasite a listen.
I did go back to Parasite, and I still wasn't super sold on that either.
Okay, then yeah, that you might just need more on it, and that's perfectly fine. Derek,
don't get it twisted that you have me very intrigued with this band.
Good.
I am also intrigued, but I also have no gripes with this song. I didn't have anything about this that I didn't enjoy. I just thought every part of it was good or great.
Would you say it's a vibe?
No,
I
thank
would
you.
actually. You know what? I think it's the I don't know if they like actually tracked them like this or if they just put them in electronically. but the drums in the first bit where they're kind of doing more of the rap style vocals remind me a lot of the backing tracks for Nothing Nowhere, like his solo work, kind of like the emo rap style things. I think specifically the one that comes to mind is Lights. Off the album that came out this year, Trauma Factory.
Yeah.
And like that's as somebody who's, you know,
Favorite song by
an
him.
emo rap emo rap enthusiast will say. It was very much appreciated. I would agree that I am intrigued by this band. I think out of all the smaller bands that we've talked about and like kind of kept our eye on, I think this is the one that I'm most excited for because they've got a great blend of genres vocally and instrumentally like right off the bat. This song doesn't entirely have me sold, and it's just because I think that everything here is good and there's not like one thing that's pushed itself over the edge. But again, for a band's second single to be something I'm this interested in and something this good, I'm very excited to see where this band goes in the future.
I will before we head off, I'll mention one of my favorite kind of lyrics. It's in the rap vocals actually. Probably why I really like the rap vocals in this compared to other things. It's you're part of the threat. It's a fact you're in a cage that I made. Look back at the jet black jar and the your jet black heart with all the things you hate. I love that part. I feel like it really adds very well and keeps up the pace of the song. Where in rap it's really hard to keep up with the cleans. You almost kind of like you almost have like sections of the song, but I feel like the song as a whole is just one like beginning to the end, and I really like it because of that.
All right, I think we're good to move on. I'm gonna take the wheel here for the next
Let's
two.
enter the Jake section of the
Yeah.
playlist. Real quick.
There we go. Let's do it. Des Rock's dropped a brand new song called Imaginary Friends.
Keep whispering. Do you wanna leave me here? We're always in your head. Imaginary friends. Do you wanna leave me?
And based on the way that you guys talked about that, this one hasn't sold any of you, I'm assuming.
Nope. No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, I was thinking maybe because this song is definitely less quirky compared to Mickey Mouse Club, and I was thinking that maybe that would get one of you. Clearly, I'm wrong. But in that vein, the flair and quirkiness of Mickey Mouse Club from last month is why I was so high on that song. And this song lacking it makes it kind of forgettable. So I really don't have a lot to say on this song.
I need to know, which one of us did you think you would get?
I was thinking maybe Derek.
No.
Okay, that's who I thought too.
You know what? Me too, but I'm not sold.
Yeah.
Ask again in next song.
All right, let's move on then. The Score have dropped a brand new song. Once again, Top of the World.
Those who wait in line. I've been breaking these walls in my mind, and woo, they're breaking down. I'm on top of the world.
The Score have really turned into Better Imagine Dragons. They have evolved.
Dude, that was my exact comment.
They have become Imagine Dragons, but better. And better than they will ever be.
Yep.
Period.
Man, shit. Why am I even here, bro? Like,
Bro, this is the
you just
Jake
took the words
section.
right out of my
This
mouth.
is the Jake section.
Look, well, okay, so
You get your time in like a minute, okay?
My bad, yo, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, this feels like kind of the ballad-esque song of presumably an upcoming album or an EP. I'd have to assume an album just based on their size at this point. But this feels very similar to Best Part, which was the lead single for Carry On last year. And I wasn't really liking Best Part, but I think the lyricism works better here with On Top of the World when you're leaning into that kind of inspirational ballad type song. Having that line of I'm on top of the world and then into just some kind of calming instrumentation. It's definitely it's up there for one of the better ballad-esque songs that they've done. Still not my favorite. I still think that this band peaked 2 years ago, but I still did enjoy this song. As I've said every time I mention them, I am always going to like The Score. The Score are never going to be a bad band in my eyes. They there's just a legacy that I have with them at this point. Even if I don't like them as much as I used to, I don't see myself ever stopping being a fan of this band, and that's about all I have to say.
I think the only thing that I can really say, because Better Imagine Dragons, you took the words right out of my mouth. They sound a lot like Imagine Dragons here, even down to the like lyricism and the song title. Like, I'm on top of the world versus Imagine Dragons. I'm on top of the world. Eh?
Yeah.
Like whatever. But this is just infinitely better. I feel like they're doing this sound way better than Imagine Dragons ever could. This is the score song in a very long time. I think maybe since that collab with Black Bear back in what, 2018? That
Yeah, that was early 2019.
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first song since then where I have heard it. I have wanted to listen all the way through. Maybe just on the grounds that I'm like, wow, this is just Imagine Dragons. I need to hear more, whatever. But either way, I consider it a win because even if I don't end up liking it, I will be revisiting the song, which is not something that I've been able to say for a lot of, well, the score, but just like alt rock songs in general recently. So very excited about that. We'll see where this goes. We could live in a world where I would like more bits of the score of the release than not. We'll see. Time will tell. Probably not, but the hope is there with the song.
But we have better things to talk about.
Yes, we do. We've got 2 new songs from Movements, B-sides off of their album from last year, No Good Left to Give. One called Panic, and the other called No Silhouette.
I'm going to get my thoughts out of the way pretty quick on here. When I first heard No Good Left to Give at the end of last year, after you guys had convinced me in our top 10 albums episode, I was really, really unsure on what to think of the band. Because honestly, I don't know if I had ever heard anything like Movements at that point. I still don't know if I have heard anything quite like Movements. I think Movements are forever going to be a band that is going to take me significantly longer to enjoy their music than any other band I listen to. Both of these songs are good when I listen to them. Like, they come on in my playlist. I'm not complaining, but I'm not actively seeking out listening to them. And I feel like it's gonna take me a while to get to a point where I will, because that's what happened when I heard No Good Left to Give. It wasn't like I heard that album at the end of December. It probably wasn't until like February that I was like really getting into like Don't Give Up Your Ghost and Skin to Skin. And that's when those songs finally started to click with me after that long. And I feel like it's kind of just a similar situation here where it's just going to take me some time to get into both of these songs.
I will agree with Jake there. For me, the album took quite a while for me to get into, and I also had to be in a certain headspace, which I'm not in anymore, thankfully.
Yeah.
Well, not as bad. Anyways,
You can come join my therapy session with me.
I'm gonna say I need more time with.
Yep. I think I am entirely with you. I think what it might be, and I don't know if it's just because they're labeled B-sides or what. For me, I'm hearing these versus the rest of No Good Left to Give, and it feels like the mixing and production on these is a little more like closer to a demo, I guess, in terms of like how crisp or clear it sounds. Like No Good Left to Give, I mean, you know it as well as I do, had a certain like sound to the instrumentals that gave it a certain vibe, and I feel like it hasn't been as fleshed out here. And maybe it's just like we had these songs, they almost went to final production, we decided to cut them, but we'll release where they were at anyway. Like, it feels like there's something about them that's unfinished in terms of how they sound. I don't know if it's just me or, like I said, if it's just because they're labeled B-sides and I've got that perception. But I think that the entirety of No Good Left to Give is better than these two. I don't know where necessarily they would have fit on the album. I'm always happy to get new Movements material, but I think I need more time with them, and I'm not sure if I'll love them as much as I did the rest of that album, which was, what, your number 5, right? And my number 3? Is he gone?
Yeah, I think
Did we lose
he-
him? Oh, yes, in the Discord chat. My homie is gone. I thought we lost him. I thought he started thinking about No Good Left to Give again. He was like, damn, that's it for me. I'm gone. His mic broke. It's over.
Oh, that's impressive.
We just need his mic to return before we get to Lorna Shore. It's fine. Real quick, an aside, I need you, and this is a challenge to everybody here and also everybody listening, to go see Movements live if you can, because the way in which he sounds exactly like he does on the record is honestly like really astonishing.
Bro,
I got to see him at Sad Summerfest.
I
his,
forgot to
like-
drop this in the Discord the other day. They were literally in New Haven, like 45 minutes from me, like 2 days ago.
Oh, you
And
should have gone.
I missed it. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Like when he gets into his like harsher vocal register, especially from their debut album, where it's a little bit more present. It's like, I mean, I could close my eyes and you could have told me that they were just playing like an MP3 of the song, and I would have believed you. Like it was crazy. I expected them to be good, but I didn't expect them to be that good. So go see them live if you haven't. But yep, good songs. Need some more time with them. I see why they didn't make the cut for the album.
I think that just about sums it up. We got Enemy back with a brand new song called Damn, as you said there. Nice try. I'm not feeling this as much as I was feeling Deceiver, which is their previous single. But I listened to this song a lot purely because it followed Circle the Drain by Wage War in my playlist. And I would listen to Circle the Drain and this would just follow it. And
Hello.
therefore I would
Sorry.
just expose myself to it more. Hi,
He's
Jacob.
back.
He's
He
back.
lives.
He lives.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I would just listen to this song a lot just because it followed like one of my favorite songs of the month. And it grew on me the more I listened to it. One thing though, lyrically, I'm not. It's not the best thing I've heard from them lyrically. I'm not sold on the opening lines of the chorus where it's I've lost the will to go on, so I put it in a song.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, like it's a fine song. Enemy are very clearly talented. They're up and coming for sure. Definitely a band I'm happy to be paying attention to and keeping an eye on and trying to expose them to a bigger audience if I can, because they are talented. But they have better than this.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything I was gonna say about this song.
Yep.
All right, cool. We got
Glad
to
we're in
move on.
agreement.
If there's not much more to say, we got to get the show on the road. So,
Yeah, let's go.
Memphis May Fire are back yet again with a brand new song called Bleed Me Dry.
In your eyes, I could never get it right. You want me dead, but I'm alive. 'Cause I will never lose.
Derek,
Yes.
you got your wish. You got a longer breakdown.
I did, and
Well,
I got it on the
what-
worst single of the three.
But at what cost?
But at what
Look,
cost?
worst, maybe a little bit of an over. Well, I mean, I do think it's the worst single, but I don't think it's a bad song.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
just like, I feel like with Death Inside and Blood and Water's got incredible like riffage, instrumental, super catchy. Death Inside has this phenomenal 2-part chorus. With both of those songs, there's something like very memorable about them. For this one, it's just like everything is
package.
really good, but nothing is standing out. So I finally get my longer breakdown. Look, all I'm saying is if you took the riff and verses from Blood and Water, the chorus from Death Inside, and the breakdown from this song and just threw them all into one conglomerate,
Hey, I gotta
Song of the
complain
year.
about the breakdown a little bit because the lyrics are a bit cringy. Cheesy,
Cut,
whatever.
cut.
yeah, cut. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I just they do generic metalcore when they try better than most other bands that have tried to put out something similar to this for their whole careers.
Yeah, I'm convinced on that too after these 3 songs.
Yeah,
So
I'm after the first 2 were so good, I'm left a little underwhelmed by this one.
I heard a rumor
Oh,
that they are going to release the album track by track, like all singles.
well, you know what?
I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard multiple people say it. So I don't know where they're getting this information from.
You know, if any band is gonna do it, I'll take it from Memphis May Fire at this
Well,
point.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, one thing I was gonna say is that I know Matty Mullins confirmed. I can't remember what singer he was on a live stream with, but he confirmed that there was an album recorded. And then I've heard other people say, "Oh, they're just releasing singles." So if they were releasing the album single by single, generate
Kinda like,
hype, generate radio.
Sundowning by Sleep Token. That's how they did it.
Oh
Single by
yeah.
single.
Well, I more recently in terms of I was going to talk about Citizen Soldier.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you mentioned that, I was kind of like, because the only memory I have recently of a band doing that within the past year is Citizen Soldier, which, we were not at all happy about. But
I do want to make a quick note. They dropped a
Wait.
new single recently, and it was
Wait.
actually pretty
fuck
good.
it. Oh,
You
no,
mentioned them.
don't be saying that.
Like, genuinely,
What's up, Shaky?
I've been listening to all their singles since we stopped talking about them on the show, and the one
Damn,
they
I
dropped,
haven't listened to one since we stopped talking about them. That's crazy.
They show up in my release radar, and I'm like, fuck it, I might as well listen to it once. And the one that they dropped this past week is the best song they have dropped all year. So I'll leave you with that. Back to Memphis May
Maybe.
Fire.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be happy if they did that. I think there's enough good albums that we've gotten in a traditional style this year and will subsequently get yet this year that I don't think I'd be super upset if we get a track by track type thing. But I think that does mean if they're doing it like that, it's to generate hype around the singles, which means it's going to be a lot longer before we have the final finished product.
What do you think? This might sound like a stupid question, but what do you think about this song? Again, like or against like their last album.
This is way better than anything off that
Yeah.
last album.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
You know,
This,
I also want to
like-
make a point real quick that if you drop this song as the first song ahead of Blood and Water, I think all of our views on this song change drastically.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's
Because
a comparison.
if this follows that album from 2018, which I thought was pretty disappointing, and like this is still really good. It's just that it's following Blood and Water and Death Inside, which are just two of the
Yeah.
best songs
Actually-
the entire summer.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I would be on the hype train as much if they release this.
True. You know what? Yeah, it's
I'm glad
it's a
they
give
did it
and
the way they
take.
did.
I mean,
I
yeah, I'm
think-
glad too because I got Blood and Water 2 months earlier. Than it would have been this hypothetical I'm proposing, but
Yeah. I don't know. They're. I mean, I guess we hinted at it when you asked me the question, but they're still, even if we're not as high on this song, they're still putting out their best songs in.
Oh yeah,
Many
I'd
years.
say ever. I'd say ever.
I haven't heard any Memphis May Fire pre-2017
You know what?
material.
I think-
but I will
think-
agree.
I think I'll agree for the most part. I think there's some off the hollow that are a little better, but at least besides that, yeah, absolutely, 3 of the best songs of their career. Speaking of an artist releasing one of the best songs of their career, Bill Murray has returned with the lead and probably only single off his upcoming album 400 Pound Back Squat, entitled Lord Farquadzilla.
God bless Bill Murray for
I
existing.
He is-
fucking love Johnny Frank is such a king, man.
He's a character.
I might not love this song, which is going to be a stark contrast to probably all
Yeah, I
three
mean,
of
like,
you.
go fuck yourself, but you know.
But like, still, God bless this man for existing and bringing some humor into this scene. It's well needed.
Just everything from the music to the song titles to the album titles, everything is so creative.
Video.
Yeah. The music video is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, do it. If you haven't seen it and don't want to, he essentially took a lot of scenes of like people fighting, both in person and in anime, or like lifting heavy weights, and just green screened his moving, singing head on top of all of the fights.
He also did
And
it
it
for
is-
the feature Jonathan Young.
Yes.
That was
And
Stupid
it is
fun because
fantastic.
they were just like kaiju or like the Power
Yeah,
Ranger
yeah.
like swords.
It's just I mean the synth pop like beat in the background of the verses is like almost Blinding Lights by The Weeknd-esque in terms of like gets stuck in your head, like it's just a good vibe. The effect and tuning on his voice, I oftentimes knock artists who use, I feel like, too much effects on their voice, but Bill Murray has created such like a signature sound with it that I just don't care. I mean, the way, I don't know about you guys, but the delivery on that pre-chorus where I just keep wondering who I am, especially in contrast, like that's, his lyrics are always so serious, it feels like, in contrast with some of the musical choices he makes, like instrumentally with effects and, the song titles and everything like that. And I feel like this is one of the best examples of that in recent memory. And then you have the Jonathan Young feature. Jonathan Young, an artist who I'm not usually super high on, so I needed 2 listens to get into it. But fits naturally that, like, I don't even know what to call it, vibrato, I guess, where there's like a mini solo after the first chorus and he hits the woo,
Yeah.
It's just, there's so much creativity here. And on paper, none of this shit should work, right? Like, I feel like nobody else could make this work except Bill Murray, but it's done in such a beautiful way.
Can I interrupt you and let's talk about that fucking electronic breakdown?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Was
so
not
good.
anticipating that. It's like the closest thing to Icy Stars that we've gotten in like 5 years.
Oh, why did you even remind me, dude?
I didn't know I needed a rock ballad by Bill Murray, but I got a rock ballad by Bill Murray.
It's so good. Fuck
It's
me.
really good.
It's so catchy. It's so repeatable. There's so much here to love, but there's still that, trademark creativity that we expect from Bill Murray. Fuck me. God, it's good.
Why is he a fucking asshole and decides to have the album in September?
Yeah, like every other artist.
Oh,
It's too much good music releasing, man.
So
I
good.
just
it's
whatever.
probably a 6 or 7 track album. So
Yeah, it's 7 tracks. It's 7 tracks, just like the last couple.
Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty easy to digest.
Yep. Very happy. This is my most played song of the month, by the way. Just
Oh, wow.
It was
out there.
released. It was released in the second to last
I
day
know.
of the month.
Oh, I know. I listened to it, I think, 40 times the first night it came out.
Me,
So-
me, but with Lullaby.
Yeah, I'm
but with
so happy
dial
with this.
on.
True.
We got
All
our
right.
last single of the month, boys.
Finally,
This
Jesus
is a
Christ.
special edition deathcore segment of the Hivemind podcast.
Which Justin will be leading.
Oh, you're cute. Bye.
He's a lost boy.
Be
Hardcore
leading the
resident
way out.
post-hardcore junkie. Whitechapel are back with, I believe, their first song since 2019's The Valley. It's called Lost Boy, and it's the lead single to an album called Kin. Man, this I did not expect in terms of like just a general release and how this sounds. How are you feeling about it, Jacob?
Normally I'm not too much of a Whitechapel fan, but The Valley was like an exception for me.
I agree.
So this seems like a more it's combining the two, and there's more heavy than I would like. I do appreciate the clean section.
Yes. My favorite part of the song, personally.
Yeah.
Not what I was anticipating. I think I need to go back and revisit The Valley because
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
I really liked it when it came out. I think that was about the same time that I was first listening to Chelsea Grin. And so I wasn't quite as into, the heavier like deathcore side of things yet. So I'd be very interested to go revisit that and see what I think. But I guess I just wasn't at all, because of that expectation in my head, I wasn't expecting cleans. So when I got them, it's very nice. I think, for me, I think this is a great lead single. It's got me excited for Kin. I wish that there was more of a distinctly memorable instrumental part to the song. Like, I feel like what I would expect from deathcore, or like a band that for the most part is deathcore, to be the memorable bit would be some like insane technical or like heavy instrumental moment. And instead it's like a clean section. And I feel like I like it, but I feel like it overshadows the rest of the song, not in the sense that it's like overpowering. It's just like, damn, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know. I am excited to see where this goes because this was
I'm
not
interested
what I
to
was
see if they
expecting.
do another concept album because I really enjoyed the Valley.
Yeah.
The story behind it and everything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think before that album comes out, I need to revisit the Valley.
It-
And Jake listened to the Valley challenge.
No.
I would like to see how that goes.
yeah,
I don't know if I would.
You should.
it's
Give me 5 years, okay?
I mean, that's true. That's true. The backlog's a little heavy, and this isn't at the top. Oh god,
So,
wow.
that does it for singles, boys. We made it,
we did.
but we are still in the special deathcore section of the podcast because the one
Lorne.
EP we're going to be talking about this. Lorny, yeah. I'm horny for Lorny, bro. The one EP we're going to be talking about this month is the new EP from Lorna Shore, and I Return to Nothingness. The first EP with new vocalist Will Ramos after He Who Shall Not Be Named got kicked out for various reasons.
I have one thing to contribute to this discussion, okay?
Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
Deathcore, lol.
Yep. Poor Jake.
Justin, how about you?
Deathcore lol.
Wow. Who would have guessed, Jacob? It's
Actually,
still
I
you.
have a second thing to contribute. I
Oh,
was
hit me
not
with it.
I was not able to make it through an entire listen of any of these 3 songs.
Not, or is it because you
I
just didn't have the
didn't
time? Or
bother.
It just too heavy, too deathcore.
Ah, understandable. Have a nice day. Now,
Now, don't mind me as I go hop in bed with my wireless headset to listen to you guys
Yeah.
discuss.
Well, for those of us who just aren't major pussies, I
I will accept it with
Don't
pride.
call
to
me
hear
that
it.
next time.
no, get out your bed then. No, I am going to put it on the table that these are the 3 best Lorna Shore songs I have heard.
Yes.
Okay, good. I think that Of the Abyss is the best song on here.
Yep.
Okay, good. We're 2 for 2. I think that this is a very cohesive EP, and that even if it's not as heavy as the others, and I Return to Nothingness is the best possible note that this EP could have closed on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. 3 for 3. I think that the breakdown into the Hellfire is just slightly better than Of the Abyss.
Yep.
Okay, 4 for 4. I am very excited for the upcoming Lorna Shore album.
There's an album? I didn't even know.
They are in the studio and I believe already have tracks recorded.
Wow.
I think that this
Are
was
any-
already existing and was meant to generate hype around Will Ramos.
Okay, so I'm guessing To the Hellfire is going to be on it then.
I
would
think
assume
that it's
so.
all new material.
Okay.
I think that To the
Um,
Hellfire is going to be a setlist staple for sure, but I don't think these songs will end up on the
100%.
album.
Dude, this band has put deathcore on the map.
And on its back,
Yeah.
for that matter.
To
In
the
what-
Hellfire is the deathcore anthem, and there's, I'm not too deathcore. I'm not too big into deathcore, but I don't see anything overtaking it as the deathcore anthem. It is the deathcore anthem.
Oh yeah. Did you have Lorna Shore breaking the US top 15 viral on your 2021 bingo card? Because I sure as hell didn't, and yet there they were.
Oh my god, dude.
It was really funny to look at the updated Spotify list for like the Billboard listings for that day, because it was just like a shitload of pop artists and then To the Hellfire by Lorna Shore.
Let's see. I want to see how many amount of the listeners Chelsea Grin is at. Okay, Lorna Shore has surpassed Chelsea Grin.
What the fuck?
Let's see Whitechapel. Surpassed Whitechapel.
How
I
the
need
fuck
another
did
one.
they do that?
Fire's Murder.
I believe that Immortal was the lead single for Immortal. And actually, no, it was This Is Hell. My bad.
They
Well,
have just surpassed Thy Artist Murder. Barely.
what the fuck? I mean, it's deserved as hell because they're mad talented, but holy shit, I would never expected it. I mean, their most popular song was the title track from the album that came out last year at 4.2 million plays. And so the Hellfire is already at 5.6 million. They
Wow.
hit 1 million plays in the first week of it being out. A deathcore song. A
Wow.
6-minute black metal fusion deathcore song hit 1 million Spotify plays in the first week. How the fuck does that happen? How on God's green earth could any other band achieve that? It boggles my mind. It's crazy. It's unbelievable, but they've managed to do it with the perfect blend of symphony and atmosphere and breakdowns that make you want to kill somebody. There's just everything here. There's something to love, I feel like, for every. I mean, if you can manage to get through all 6 minutes of every song, there's something to love here for almost every fan of every subgenre of like metal. I feel like it's just this band is so fucking talented. I didn't think that I'd be this excited for future deathcore releases for any band because I can appreciate a deathcore song here and there. I'm not super into it. This has changed that entirely. This is fantastic. They've somehow managed to get better after losing Tom Barber, and then they got even better after losing the guy who was good enough to replace Tom Barber. It's like Dance Gavin Dance. I feel like a few bands can manage to do it, and they've somehow managed to do it with just an incredible amount of talent. Phenomenal EP.
From the carcass of a dead star to the darkness of a blackened heart, we are one in the dust, in the nothingness. We are infinite. We are infinite.
Beautifully edgy and fantastically put.
I love the chorus of the Abyss. Oh my!
I good lyrics. I didn't hear that in the song, but good lyrics.
Yeah, Undertaker was just sat there like shit. I got to be like 3 minutes through, and they're like 45 seconds in. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm turning it off."
Oh my!
I say we move on to something that Jake and Justin can participate a little bit more in. Caskets have put out their debut album, Lost Souls.
I figure you get the final say. Now that you're gone, you come and see me. A little closure is what I like.
At the start of this year, I said, well, not at the start of this year. Maybe at the start of this year. I don't know. At many points throughout this year, I said, if any band was going to top Normandy for my album of the year spot, it was going to be Caskets. Now, having heard this album, I think I have made a decision.
I have as well.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to know the answer, but I think
I
I've made a
assume.
decision. This band is incredible. I feel like if Spiritbox have been the breakout band of the past year, I genuinely feel like Caskets is either like number 2 or number 3 behind them. Maybe not in like the past year alone, but like if we're talking like past 3 years, what other bands have gone from nothing to is like I feel like Caskets are one of the biggest names in post-hardcore at the moment. In a matter in like record pace, this band has become one of the best in the genre, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'd agree. This album has my favorite song of the month.
Which one is it?
Take a guess.
Clarity.
No, but close.
Drowned in Emotion?
No, it's Hold Me Now.
Oh.
Hold Me Now is really good.
Okay, because that's interesting, because I'm going to contrast by saying that I think that "Hold Me Now" and "Clarity" are the two most forgettable songs on the CP. Or
What?
No, you can't say that about Clarity. I think it's it is Clarity because the violin at the end.
So
Oh,
okay, yeah, "Clarity's" the one with the
How dare
violins.
you
Got it.
badmouth? How dare you badmouth my children like that?
Hell, you're huh?
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Caskets have released the best 4-track string of songs I think I have maybe ever heard since Foxblood dropped.
Yeah, it's
their-
called Glass Heart to Hold Me Now, No Lost in Echoes
No.
into Clarity.
No.
It's Lost in Echoes to Drowned in Emotion.
It's Drowned in Emotion to One More Time. It's the final 4, final 5 songs. I don't know if I've ever heard such a strong streak of songs back to back to back to back to back. I go back to some of my favorite albums of all time since getting into this genre, and I struggle to come up with a list of 3, let alone 4 songs that are that good next to each other. The only example I can give is with that 2019 Foxblood album, which had Young and Invincible into Kill the Lights into Grief and Mercy Sleep in 7 years. That string of 5 or 4 songs is the only thing that even comes close to contending how good I think that streak of the final 4, final 5 songs is. I was blown away by those final 5 songs to a point where, like, to a point of making Hold Me Now and Clarity, like, forgettable. They are that good that they can make Clarity and Hold Me Now, which, don't get me wrong, are both fantastic songs, but that streak of them back to back has stuck with me so much that I have barely spent any time listening to Clarity or Hold Me Now. I think, like, it's really a shame because they are so good, and especially that violin bit in Clarity that you mentioned, Jacob, is something I was not expecting to get at all from this band, but it works so well. But that final string of Drowned in Emotion and To Lose Myself into the final say, really it's those 3, and then One More Time and Nothing to Hide are both fantastic as well, but really it's those 3 that have left a impression on me that I think is going to stick around for a long time to come. Now,
You know what this-
before I get into that, I want to give you guys a chance to speak any praises here.
You know what this feels like?
Tell
It
me.
feels like the Slaves album from last year.
It
Released
doesn't.
in August, and
It has a yellow color scheme.
that's green. Yeah, but post-hardcore released in August. Every song is so good. Feels I don't know. It feels exactly. It feels like I'm reliving the year.
Damn, I feel like, man, with you saying that, I feel like I'm gonna be the only one here who isn't
Don't,
super
don't,
high on it.
don't.
I know. Look. No, because I have positive things to say, but I'm
so
gonna say my piece so that everybody else can sing their higher praises.
I'm melting.
Look, no, it's good. I promise. I have good things to say.
This is a debut album. Did you
I
think
know.
of that?
I didn't stop. I feel like I'm getting bullied out of the hive mind right now. No. Okay. So even earlier in this episode, and ever since they started releasing these singles, we've dubbed my impression of them the Caskets effect, where I hear a Casket song and I have no objective issue with anything that I hear. Everything is great. I have a great time listening to a song. For whatever reason, I can't get into it. I am happy to report that after hearing this album and listening to it a couple of times, I have taken away 4 songs that I have played repeatedly from this album, and there is not one song on here that I don't enjoy. I think that for me personally, The Final Say is probably my favorite song off the album. Just hearing the way that chorus is delivered, specifically the words "The Final Say."
Good choice.
I think probably the most memorable, like just from our group standpoint, most memorable moment in music for me this year with us together as some capacity of the Hive Mind has been when Jake and I were listening to this on
Yeah.
debut night, and Nothing to Hide. I like threw it out there. I'm like, damn, I would really like a solo on this album. I don't think it's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
And then that shit hit, and I like ascended. I ascended to a new astral plane. I was like, oh fuck.
I thought you were
I was
going to
like,
mention the
it's out
moment
of body.
on the final say where Matt just screams, "Can you hear me?" right before
Oh,
that
yeah.
first chorus, because
That
that
shit
that
banged,
was
too.
that was when I ascended. That was the moment that I ascended. Took you a little bit longer to reach me, but
Yeah, I still think that this is maybe a little bit too much of post-hardcore in one sitting for me. For me, this feels, for my personal taste, I would want to sit down and listen to these songs on an individual basis rather than the album as a whole, because it feels like there's a lot of good in every individual track, but some of the tracks for me get kind of molded together in a way. I can't pick distinct bits out of necessarily every single song. But I mean, with that said, for me going into this album, not having anything saved and not finding anything to love, the fact that I was even able to get one song out of it, I would consider a win, let alone four. And considering also that I've gone back and re-listened to this album multiple times, I've gotten more out of this album than I ever thought I would. So even if I'm not as high on it as you guys, which I know the bullying is going to return come top 10 albums episode when we get to the end of the year. But
Yeah, I had to go through it last year, motherfucker.
yeah, look, bro, leave me alone. I'm trying my best.
it says you putting To Better Days at number 5.
Can't hear you.
Coward.
Coward.
Overall, no, I am very happy with this album. Very, very happy. Rest, you can take it away now. I know you're excited.
Justin,
Wait, before we
Jacob.
get back into it,
Yeah.
why are we mad at Derek for last year's? I don't remember. Sorry.
We're not
Last
mad
year's-
at Derek. I just have old wounds.
No, from the top 10 episode. What are we talking about? I'm lost.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
you said-
Well,
you said-
last year I was the only one to keep To Better Days out of
Oh, I
the
thought-
top
okay,
3.
Never mind. I remember that.
Yeah, and I feel like Derek's gonna be the same way this year. This album.
Yeah. It's only gonna miss the top 5, right,
Yeah.
guys? It'll make it into the top 10, right, guys?
right?
right.
September's around the corner, guys.
Yeah, fuck it. I got 5 albums of the year coming out 2 weeks from now. Like, there's no way in hell.
So my favorite 3-song stretch is got to be Clarity, Into Hopes and Dreams, and to Drown in Emotion. Clarity for that violin. I already mentioned it.
You
Hopes
are
and
the man
Dreams.
of the violin.
That's
It is
true.
well known.
Violin man.
It is well known information at this point.
Hopes and Dreams is my favorite song lyrically on the album.
Beautiful song.
Agree.
Yeah. And then Drown in Emotion is my favorite sounding song on the album. So
Going off of Drowned in Emotion, Drowned in Emotion is my favorite song of the month. I'm gonna make that clear. I've kind of been keeping it hidden, so to say. But I heard that song for the first time a week before the full album dropped, before it was on Spotify. Usually if a song drops early on YouTube, I just end up waiting to go back to it until it's on Spotify. I went back to that music video probably like 10 or 15 times in the week before it was on Spotify because I could not get it out of my head. And specifically what I couldn't get out of my head was that goddamn chorus. Where it's like falling through the cracks and then rhyming drowned in emotion with gone in a moment. Dude, that like blew my mind. It's not even that big of a thing. Like it's just a rhyme. Drowned in emotion, gone in a moment. Like the syllables match up kind of. But when I first processed that, I'm not going to say first heard it because I didn't process it on the first listen. But when I first realized that a couple of listens in, I was like, holy shit. Like, that's one of my favorite lyrical moments of the entire year of 2021, I think. Not to mention, we get a Caskets breakdown in this song. Didn't see that one coming. If there is one fault that I have with this album, it's that it is like 2 breakdowns short of having enough breakdowns. Because Drowned in Emotion, as far as I'm aware, is the only song on this album that gets a breakdown, and it gets 2 of them. One in the middle and then one right at the end before
Clarity.
the fade out. Does Clarity get a breakdown?
Yes.
Fuck. Well, give this album 2 more breakdowns. Give this album 2 more breakdowns anyway, because
Also,
that's really my only fault with this. It's that there's like you have an 11-track album with one kind of an interlude in Hopes and Dreams, so 10 tracks and 2 get a breakdown. The rest all get kind of a stereotypical bridge. You give me more of a balance between an instrumental breakdown. I'm not asking for like unclean, harsh vocals here. I'm just asking for an instrumental breakdown. That is.
yeah, that is clarity.
Fuck.
But by the
Fuck.
way, I want to mention the fact that we got Glass Heart as the first single back in December, and it still was like top 5
Oh,
songs.
it
of
is
the
still
album.
it is the best song on the album.
It is really good.
I
I wouldn't say it's top.
It is
but
the best song. In retrospect, I could make an argument for it being a top 10 song last year.
also the only one's biggest grower of the singles.
True, very true.
I think for me, it's Glassheart just because I didn't like it as much before, and now I'm like really super into it.
Speaking of Glassheart, I just want to mention that the way that this band is able to put variety into all their choruses in whatever way, like in Glassheart, that final chorus, they like match the vocal delivery to the drum beat. Drowned in Emotion, they drop the drum beat to like half pace, so instead of they where there was 4 drum beats in the first chorus, there's only 2 in the second chorus. That variation does so much to make an album that is very much post-hardcore essentials. It makes it seem so much less repetitive because they're adding in all of these slight variations, whether it's in the chorus or in a verse or something like that. And every single time it works so goddamn well. The second time that chorus in Drowned in Emotion hits and the instrumentation is slowed down, it hits that much more powerfully. And I feel like you could say that for so many songs. Drowned in Emotion and Glassheart are the biggest examples for me, but there's definitely other songs on this album that do that. Before I end off my points on this fantastic album, I want to touch on a couple of things that I haven't mentioned. The opening riff to Lose Myself is sick. I fucking love that riff. I also love the line of the chorus where it's you're the monster in my fairy tale. I don't love the delivery of that chorus. It took me a few listens to get into it, but I still really appreciate that line. I think it's a really creative line. And then one more time, you get another sick fucking opening. You don't just go straight into a riff, but you get a sick verse with some very, very present drums in the mix. They're in your ears, front and center, and I fucking love it. I feel like I didn't say enough praise to the final say in all of this when it is probably my 3rd favorite song on the album behind Drowned in Emotion and Glassheart. I just need to reiterate the point of Matt yelling, "Can you hear me?" before the first chorus being one of the most impactful moments of music I have heard all year. I still remember getting chills. There are some times on first listen when I hear music that it will stick with me in my memory. I don't remember every song that I hear for the first time and how I react to it. The Final Say is one of the few songs that I'm going to remember my first time hearing that song. And I think that is one of the most... that is one of the biggest pieces of praise that I can give to a song when a first reaction sticks with me that much. That's all the rambling I got.
I don't have much more to add. I just want to kind of mention some of my favorite lyrics from Hold Me Now, since it is my favorite song of the month. When the chorus changes, when it goes into like the second chorus and adds that second bit of hearts breaking, I'm aching for me to find my home again, I'm shaking, thoughts racing, please God, don't let this be the end, and then leads into the chorus. I felt like
That's another one of the songs that does the variation on the chorus. I remember now. Thank you for saying out those lyrics, because like just off of looking at Hold Me Now, like as I said, it's one of the songs that just fell through the cracks of not being one of the last 5 songs on the album for me. But you saying those lyrics, like, yeah, that was another song where they did a variation on the chorus that totally worked.
Yeah, I will say that a lot of this album has very impactful lyrics. Probably the best lyricism of this month, just in total. With
I don't think
quality.
there's any contention to that, to be honest.
No, there's stuff like Nothing to Hide, Hold Me Now, Final Say, Drown in Emotion, Glass Heart, all those just have really good lyrics that I can think of off the top of my head just because their lyrics kind of pop off.
I just remembered another set of lyrics. Don't mind me continuing to ramble on why this album is amazing. But in the final say before that powerful chorus, the build up to it where it says, just because you hate yourself doesn't mean I should be ignored. A father is all that I'm looking for.
Yes, that's a good one.
Man, that just hits deep. That one hits deep, man. Impactful lyricism. Any last thoughts on this one? We've been talking forever on this one. I feel we've had a lot to say. I want to get going with these last few albums.
No, I've got nothing else.
Alrighty then. With the big one out of the way, we got 3 more albums to go. Let's get started talking about Afterlife, who dropped their brand new album, Part of Me.
So who here heard Breaking Point, their last album?
I have not.
I have heard songs from it at live shows. Does that count?
Justin, have you heard Breaking Point?
Repeat that. Repeat
Have
the
you heard
question.
Breaking Point, the first Afterlife album?
No, I have not.
Damn,
I don't like
that one
Afterlife.
person. Fuck me. I was gonna ask what people thought about them in conjunction with each other. Okay, well then I gotta go with the next best thing. Jacob, as somebody who has heard bits and pieces of the album at live shows, how do you feel with your impression of those songs versus what you've heard at Part of Me?
I don't know.
Okay,
Like
well then
I
I'll go.
I enjoy the song, like the title track, Part of Me. Like I said, whenever it came out, I over listened to it. But I still think it's a good song. Envy, I know I'm not really comparing the two like you said, but I'm just gonna say go off about
Do it. Hit me with it.
Envy has grown on me a bit. I'm very underwhelmed by the breakdown still. Yeah, there's honestly it's I can't really get into this album overall. There's bits and pieces that I enjoy, but overall it's not really my thing.
I think I'm gonna echo that a little bit, and I don't want to, and it
Yeah, I
bothers
know.
me.
I don't want to. I sound so mean.
Yeah, well, I think I want to like this album more than I do.
Yeah.
We talked about, at least earlier, how with like from Ashes to New, where, well, I guess the comparison that I wanted to make wasn't just because they're a band that's got both, clean vocals and then rap vocals, but the comparison that I wanted to make there is that, like, I feel like a lot of bands have a starting point and then maybe branch out too early. And I feel like that's almost what happened here. I think that Breaking Point for me had a much more cohesive sound to it that implemented the rap vocals a lot better. For me, it feels like you take a couple songs off of Part of Me, replace a couple songs on Breaking Point, and you have something that sounds more like a sophomore album. To me, it feels like their sound was almost more mature on Breaking Point and like more cohesive. I think that here there's a lot of good individual parts, and like you mentioned, Part of Me I think is far and away the best track off this album. Which it gave me Linkin Park vibes I mentioned when we first reviewed it, and I think that if they stuck with that sort of rap rock kind of motif consistently throughout the album, I think it would be a lot better than trying to say, okay, well, here's a song in something like Miles Away where it's mostly rap. And then here's a song like Envy where we are just going to release metalcore. And then here's a song like Part of Me, which is rap rock, Like, I feel like this album's a little too all over the place. Like, every given section of the album is having its own individual identity crisis. Like this to me feels like a collection of songs and ideas rather than one cohesive album. And I also think that it's a little too short. You've got
It is
multiple
certainly short.
tracks. Yeah, you've got multiple tracks under 3 minutes.
I think it could go with
And
one more song at least.
yeah, I mean, well, it's a 10-track album. It ends up being
Yeah.
under 30 minutes, which like would be fine theoretically if, front to back this was a cohesive album, it had an opener and a closer that flowed well into each other, so it'd be easy to repeat. Ideally, you get a 10-track album that's phenomenal and it's under 30 minutes. Fuck yeah, put that thing on repeat. Just vibe. You can listen to it twice in under an hour. Whereas with this, I'm left feeling like some songs are a little too similar to one another. Some songs feel like they're, maybe nothing special. The transitions genre to genre a little too, not jarringly, I guess, but it doesn't feel like the change in genres comes at like a natural pace, I guess would be the way to put it. I don't know. Overall, there's some good songs here, and on the songs that even I'm not as high on, there's good moments. I think the singles had me expecting something a little bit more, and I'm instead kind of left with an amalgamation of tracks of different genres that's just kind of like, I like it, but I wanted to love this album coming into it, and I don't think I left with that experience.
All right, so I also think I had higher expectations for this album going into it than I should have. But I was not left disappointed at the end of it. I want to start by saying, have you thought about how this album would sound live at all? Because when like a few days into listening to this album, I made the realization that this album feels like it was made for live shows. If we're talking about the ratio of how much I enjoy an album to how much I want to hear it live, this is one of the albums that I want to probably hear live the most, more than, not more than, some of my favorite albums of the year, A Normandy or and As Everything Unfolds. I really badly want to hear those live, but if we're talking about, albums outside that, S tier that I want to hear live, this album is at the top of that list. Or at least very near it.
Okay,
I'm thinking about songs like Envy. That song would fuck live. Misfit Anthem,
Yep.
Burn It Down, even Part of Me. Those 4 songs would fuck live. The pit would be going during those songs. I feel like this album was made to kind of just to be like a hype album almost. Maybe that's just that might not be the interpretation they were going for, but that's how I listen to it. And in that context, if I want an album that's gonna just be raw energy to pump me up, this album gives me everything that I want to. The only track that kind of misses for me here is Miles Away, and I think it works as an interlude-esque song, kind of chill. I'm not gonna go back to it individually, but Misfit Anthem, the week after, so this album released on the same day as Caskets, when Spotify's on repeat playlist generated for the following week, Misfit Anthem was the top of my on repeat playlist over anything from Caskets, just to show how much I fucking love that song. I thought Part of Me was going to be standout, clear my favorite song from this album. Misfit Anthem is giving it a run for its money that I wasn't expecting. It's barely over 2 minutes, and that chorus is just that everybody get up, this is my Misfit Anthem. Yeah, it's not the best lyricism, but bro, that shit is gonna pump me up every single time that I hear it. And it's gonna get me headbanging on like most of this album. I'm just having a great time with this album, to be honest. It might not be quote unquote the best album, but for kind of a metalcore rap new metal, somewhere in that sphere of albums, I am really enjoying this.
You know what? I will agree with this as a live album. I think if I'm not looking at it, because I mentioned this, it feels more like a collection of songs and a cohesive album.
And I think that ties together.
Yeah, if you got a collection of songs that translate well live, fuck yeah. Absolutely. You know what? Looking at it from that lens, I think I appreciate it more. Not that I would enjoy the songs any more than I do, but just that it's like if that was the intent, then I get it more now.
Mhm.
Like it makes more sense to me.
I have no idea if that was the intent or not, but that's how I'm
Yeah.
interpreting it, and that's how I'm enjoying it the most. Before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to some of the songs that we haven't really mentioned. Pure and Who Am I? Pure, I think, also would probably go hard as fuck live. And then that chorus of Who Am I? Where it's Who Am I? What am I gonna be this time? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Super catchy. It's surprisingly catchy for how heavy it is. I feel like you don't expect a chorus that kind of heavy vocally to be like, you wouldn't associate a catchy chorus with that, but it is. And I think that's just, again, that's just, I don't know if I want to say good songwriting, but like it's them recognizing how to make a good live song almost, whether that was the intent or not. Like, dude, if Afterlife is coming around supporting some sort of a metalcore tour in the Connecticut area, I am on board, bro. Like the opening acts are usually what sells me on going to a tour. Like if there's a band I really want to see, but the opening acts are bands that I don't care about really, I'm probably not going to the tour as much as I want to go and see it. The opening acts are what sells me, and Afterlife would probably be one of the like biggest sells for like a live show this year.
Yeah, having seen some videos of them live, it looks hype as fuck. I would love to see them live. I think this album overall, even if I'm not like as high on it as an album, it's fun. It's fun. It's just fun, heavy music. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm left with a couple songs that I'll revisit, and on any given album, if that's what I can get, it's better than most of the other stuff I've heard this year, so I'll take it.
Let's move on then. Phinehas are back after a very long time since their previous album with their brand new album, The Fire Itself.
So, there.
Yes.
I don't think you're gonna like what I have to say.
Okay.
So, the singles In the Night and The Fire Itself, bangers.
Mhm.
But this album is too much of the same for me. Kind of like what you said with Caskets. Yeah, like there's some really like Dream Thief. Oh, beautiful song.
Is that the one with the fucking nuts guitar riff opening? Or am I misremembering?
No, that's Holy Coward, I think. Wait, hold on. Let me investigate.
There was some song on this album that like a fucking insane guitar solo riff opening that blew me away when I first started. Like I didn't love the song, but the riff was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's Holy Coward. But Dream Thief also has a fantastic instrumental opening.
Yeah, the drummer goes crazy.
Yeah, just like that. It sounds
Drummer
exactly
goes
like that.
Yeah. So, I enjoy songs as singles and by themselves, but in the context of the album, it's just too much of the same for me. So I would, so listening to this album, I would appreciate it more if it's like in my playlist and it's on shuffle. It randomly, one song randomly comes on. That's how I would listen to this album.
Okay. You are not going to be as upset as I think you thought I might be, I think is the way to put it, because I agree entirely. Instead of The Fire Itself, for me, it's Eternally Apart and In the Night, are my two favorite singles. I think that Eternally Apart is probably my favorite song off this album. I just, that opening, especially as an opener, I mean, fuck me. You can't get any more perfect than that, I feel like. This has, I think, hold on, let me pull up my nerdy ass music Google Doc. Yeah, this got a 10 on opener, a 10 on closer, and a 10 on instrumentals. So it's it's the third album this year besides Era and Born of Osiris to get a 10 on instrumentals for me. Where I mean the instrumentation here is just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Anytime it's crowd service. is what it is. It's like, shit, you want a breakdown? Here, have 4. You want a solo? Here, we're gonna start the song off with one. Like, fuck it, why not? I mean, it's just, I am such a slut for a good guitar solo. I mean, like, you know this. Everybody knows this. I'm the solo guy. This album
I'm the
has
violin guy.
solos.
You're the solo
Solo guy, yes.
And I'm the anthemic backing vocals guy.
guy.
Justin's the post-hardcore guy. We're in there.
Bring all our bases.
Yes. Look, I like a good solo. There could be one solo on an album, and I'm happy. This has solos into breakdowns. This has breakdowns into solos. And then this has, like, intro riff. I don't know what that is. Here's a solo instead. Like, how the fuck am I not going to be happy, right? Like, I think that you are absolutely right. I think that this album has a lot of, well, I was going to say defining moments, but I think that might have just been a subconscious me looking at track 5 called Defining Moments. There are a lot of moments on here where I am listening to any given individual song and I'm like, fuck me, I love this band so much. Like, this section in particular is so good. Like,
And then,
instrumentally,
like-
some of
and
the
then
best
you're
shit
like-
I've heard all year.
And then you're like, what song is it?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, for me, that's like Severed by Self-Betrayal, Thorns, even The Fire itself to an extent, and Holy Coward as well. It's like I get those moments mixed up, and that's having heard the album like 6 or 7 times at this point. Like, this is definitely far and away a playlist album.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, this is like a defining metalcore album where it's got everything that any metalcore album or metalcore fan could want. I mean, like, I've seen so many people on Twitter calling this album of the year. And I think for me, if in metalcore I wanted a very specific thing, and that specific thing was the generic elements of metalcore done to the nth degree and in the most perfect way possible for 10 straight tracks, sign me the fuck up. I am happy with most of this album as, like, in an album context. I am 100% happy with hearing any given song in this pop up on a playlist. I think for 10 tracks, it's the same sort of thing as I was feeling with Caskets, maybe a little less, where it's just, it's too much of a good thing, and it feels almost a little bit smothering. I know that's got like a negative context, but it's just like, I'm being overwhelmed with too much good. I would rather take this in small doses where I can really appreciate it.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
if they released it kind of like
Of My Cement?
yeah,
yeah.
or possibly Memphis Mayfire if they're doing it that way. We don't know.
Yeah.
Or Citizen Soldier, I guess is how.
Each individual because they kind of blend together in some ways, and obviously they've all got their own like incredible instrumental or vocal moments, but I feel like because they're all together, they blend together. If you had, like you said, where you released it track by track and there's time to develop your attachment and understanding of every song, like, as you go, I think it would be perfect. You know, like I said, it's too much of a good thing, and some of it just blends together, which is very unfortunate because I would like it to not. But that's like me. Like, I wanna name off like a specific instrumental moment on any given song where I'm like, yeah, you need to go listen to this, and like I could tell you, like, oh, there's a solo in Eternally Apart. That's fantastic. The intro on that is amazing. In the Night is an incredible closer, has a great chorus. Like, Holy Coward's got that crazy ass intro, and just the chorus is full of energy. But it's like, for any given thing where I list it, I have to second guess whether or not I'm thinking of a different moment on a different song, and I think that's what's catching me up. Anyway, if you like metalcore, you need to listen to this as soon as possible if you haven't already, because this is like a metalcore lover's wet dream. This shit is so good, and if you want you could literally hit play on any given song here and be blown away, or at the very least really enjoy at least one aspect. of any given song.
I think that's
I mean,
a good
this band is
segue
incredibly
into my
talented.
thoughts
No,
on this
no.
album.
What if I didn't?
But okay,
Yeah,
fair
okay.
enough. Fair enough.
Stay in your
Justin.
lane, post-hardcore guy.
All right, so I gave this album a shot, being intrigued by Eternally Apart and In the Night as singles. The instrumentation was genuinely fantastic. The vocals were not my thing. The vocals are still not my thing. And having listened to an entire album of 10 songs of just pure metalcore where the vocals aren't my thing, I'm gonna be real, this ranks towards like the bottom end of some of like any album that I've heard this year.
Pain.
What separates this album from the absolute bottom tier of some other albums I've heard this year is that the instrumentation is so fucking good, as you have mentioned, that even if I'm not enjoying the vocals, I am headbanging along to every single song instrumentally. I can't help myself. It is all just that good instrumentally. Like, I wish I could get an instrumental of this album. I would love an instrumental of this album.
One exists. It was an attachment to stuff that was being sold on their merch store, like as a free edition. So it
Man.
is out there. It could arrive in the
Bruh.
future.
If anyone from Phinehas is out there, instrumental version to the
Drop
public.
it on Spotify, please God.
Please.
we need it desperately.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll
it's
be
not.
my
It's,
album. Drop it. It's my album of the year.
it's
my album
not.
of the
It's
year.
not even a knock against their vocals. It's just like because like the vocals are fine. It's just not my style. You know.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about the vocals. It's just a personal taste for me that puts me off on it. And it's the instrumentation that is keeping me from having this down at the bottom of some of my least favorite albums of this year. Like, I have only gone back to 2 songs from this album for combined probably less than 10 times each since adding them in my
Yeah.
playlist the night they've
Yeah.
came out. But I know that if I were to listen to this album front to back again, that I was going to fuck with the instrumentation. Guaranteed. And that I think that's really special. I have to give credit where credit is due.
I would also
that's kind
like
of all I have to say.
I was gonna say, like, before we, I guess, get to our last album here, I wanted to give credit to "The Storm in Me" as an incredible ballad. I
yeah.
think it's perfectly placed on this album.
That is one of the 2 tracks that I did enjoy off of this album.
I think my last kind of, well, my last note on the album and also my last sort of sales pitch to get people to listen to this is that I am not entirely positive if this will make my top 10 albums of the year, but in terms of raw score alone, I've heard 146 albums this year, and this ranks at the top. Like, it is at the number 1 spot in terms of raw score, because they're, like, subjectively, I'm not on it as a cohesive album. Objectively, this shit is absolutely incredible. Listen, go listen.
But wait, stay for the last album. Don't leave yet.
True.
We got one more
Because-
album to talk about. Derek, you want
Yes.
to take this?
Yes, I do. With Confidence have dropped their newest album, self-titled With Confidence.
Derek, I want to know what your expectations were going into this. Because
My
this is not a
expectations-
band that we had talked about. We have not talked about them on the podcast prior to now.
No.
But
So
now the full album's out. Here we are. What were you thinking?
I had them on my radar as just another pop punk band that had a couple good songs. You know, I was really into Packerette. I probably definitely butchered that pronunciation, by the way. That's Something, a track I listen to this day. You know, Moving Boxes. When Big Cat Judgment Day dropped, it's one of my most played songs of the year, one of my favorite songs of the year. And I was excited. And then we got some of the other singles, which I believe were Cult, Paper, and Anything.
Yep.
Anything I wasn't super high on. Cult I liked. Paper was actually my second favorite single. So I didn't know how I was going to feel going into this album. I can now say with confidence that this is my favorite album of the month.
God damn, okay.
Yeah, even over Caskets and Phinehas. I have listened to this album an unhealthy amount since it dropped. I gave it the first and only score for 10 out of 10 on replayability on my nerdy ass music Google Doc that got referenced in Phinehas. This establishes With Confidence as more than just another pop punk band, I feel like. Because Love and Loathing, it had like melancholy lyrics, but it had that same pop punk vibe that you expect throughout the entire album. Whereas this, you've got something with City that reminds me a lot of a very specific song. Also, it's got City in the title. It's City Lights by an artist named Conroe, and it's not even remotely the same genre, but it's sort of like it's got the same vibe to me. Where it's not necessarily pop punk. It's more of like the windows are down. You're going 45 miles an hour down whatever main street of your town that you live in is,
What's
and you're
that
just
in
kind of
kilometers?
vibing. Who the fuck cares? Actually, that's a lie. With Confidence are Australian, so I have to make the conversion. 45 mph to kmh. I typed KMS on accident. 72.4 kilometers per hour.
All right.
Yeah. You've got something like Baked with Dance Gavin Dance 3 Wishes style chorus of just, the ooh in the chorus instead of any actual lyrics. You've got a saxophone in Know You. Cult's got a bit of an edge to it. Damn it. You got Big Paper and Big Cat Judgment Day and Anything feel more like traditional pop punk style thing. Atlanta brings back that same sort of vibe as City that's more like vibey, but also a little bit melancholy. And Lose, I feel like that and Atlanta both have some like grungy elements to them. It's like this band, it feels like this band grew up. And like we've been mentioning it the whole podcast, but bands like branching out. And I feel like this is With Confidence taking what they've established as a good pop punk band with their pop punk fundamentals down, dropping a couple pop punk songs that are good, and then expanding upon that to add different things. I would almost consider this more of a rock record as the overarching genre than pop punk because of a lot of the different stylistic choices that they made here. It's 10 tracks in and out, very, very digestible. There's so much variation between the tracks that has a concrete baseline between it that you feel like you're listening to one cohesive album, while each song feels like it has its own life. Like we just got done talking with Phinehas about how every song was good, but it kind of all blended together. This one, I can tell you something distinct about every single track. Like there's a memorable moment in each of it that makes me want to come back with so many different. It's all catchy too. It's not like, oh, I remember this bit because it stood out. It's like, I remember this bit because it's been stuck in my fucking head all day, right? Like,
even the songs that are less memorable for me, there are memorable moments on. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anytime a band puts out a self-titled, it's supposed to make a statement. I feel like it's supposed to say, this is who we are as a band. This is what we're capable of. And I feel like With Confidence absolutely nailed that concept, whether they intended to or not. This is their best album, EP, song, whatever. It's all here. It's all here. They've probably, we're still considering them a pop punk band, which I guess for the most part I would, they have shot themselves into my top 3 pop punk bands. Maybe top 2, maybe my favorite. The more time I spend with this album, I feel like the more that's going to shoot up, because a lot of times with albums that are new and I'm high on them at the start, it's kind of like, oh, it's over time, a song falls off the more I listen to it, Whereas with the amount of times that I've listened to this, I just keep loving it more and more. I can't get enough of this album. I love it.
All right, so to follow that up, as someone that was only introduced to this band this year, having no prior experience, I haven't gone back to any of their previous material, so I think I'm coming into this with a pretty different perspective than what you were.
Yes.
You sent me Big Cat Judgment Day, and I was hooked.
Thanks.
That song is so good. That song is so good. I don't know why it's so good. It just is. It has something to do with that chorus, man. But going into this album in general, I was very skeptical because Big Cat Judgment Day was a hit. Colt was a miss for me. And then Anything Drops back in July, and that song was a hit for me. And then they dropped Paper is the last single before the album, and that one was a miss. So I was like, what the hell am I going to get here? And I get some good shit. I'll tell you that much. So I wish that I had heard Colt and Paper for the first time as singles. Or not as singles, in the album. If the only singles I had heard going into this album were Big Cat Judgment Day and Anything, and I'll add on to that What You Make It being the opening track. If you drop What You Make It as a single, which I think they did drop it like the day before the album or whatever. They dropped it early on YouTube or some shit, I don't know. If you drop those 3 songs as singles instead of Colt and Paper, I am significantly more excited going into this album, but I also think I'm significantly more likely to end up disappointed. So I almost am happier with the reality that we live in, where I get to experience What You Make It, City, and Know You for the first time on the album. Yeah, okay. Specifically, though, What You Make It and City. When I heard those first 2 songs, knowing that Anything was going to be the 3rd track on the album, I was like, that's a strong ass opening to an album. What You Make It ended up being my 2nd favorite song on this album behind Anything. So it's What You Make It, or no, Anything, What You Make It, then Big Cat Judgment Day for me. But even still, past that, like the further down the pecking order you go, like the quality doesn't get that much worse. Like I would probably go next towards like Lose or Paper. And then like one of like Know You or City at that, and like those are both still really incredible tracks as well. I think the big surprise for me though was definitely What You Make It. That chorus is so goddamn catchy. And another song that I really don't think I've appreciated enough, which I already kind of hinted at with Lose being the closer. The way that song slowly builds up into the final chorus just ended this album on a fantastic note and really left me, I'm gonna say it, pleasantly surprised.
Yep. We managed to go the whole episode without it.
Yeah.
I
had it a while ago.
Exercise. I was about to say the self-restraint I had to exercise at any given point to try and not say pleasantly surprised, like find some sort of synonym. It's so hard.
The new one for this episode is I encourage you.
Yeah. Listen to this band as if they are at this band.
Yeah.
We need to make a new bingo sheet each month.
That's true.
At this point, yeah. I am really satisfied with this album. I was not expecting very much out of it, given how hit or miss I was on the singles, but coming out of it, I have 3 songs that I love in Anything, What You Make It, and Big Cat Judgment Day, and I have 6 other songs that I really like, and 2 singles that I wasn't high on that I am now significantly higher on with Colt and Paper.
They transition into each other, no less.
Oh yeah, true. The only song that hasn't fully equipped with me yet is Atlanta. Just the mellowness of it feels, I don't know. It's a good track in the album. It's not something that I'm going to revisit outside of the album context. But that's like kind of my only complaint that I have with this album at this point. And to be able to say that, like, I don't know, man, with confidence, have made a statement with confidence. That's all I got. Is what similar to what Derek said about how this is super digestible. I would highly recommend this album to anyone. More so, I honestly would maybe even go as far as to recommend this album over Caskets to people, just with how accessible and digestible this is.
It's very accessible, yeah.
I think Caskets is by far the better album. Don't get me wrong, but I think that to the general public, this album is going to have something that almost anyone will like. Fellas,
great album. I think we did it.
What if this is our new longest episode and we have September next month?
Oh,
fuck! Like, man, why? Why?
I guess now is the point to where I'm gonna mention to the public that we haven't decided yet, but we might do a different format for our September recap.
There's no fucking way it's feasible if we don't. I'm dead serious.
That being said, thank you for listening to this full episode. If you want to keep up to date with the show, if we're going to do another live stream, any after hours episodes coming up in the future, we have, I think, like 2 or 3 of them potentially in the pipeline that we're trying to get out. Work in progress, so definitely subscribe, follow, stay tuned for that at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter, Hivemind Radio Recap on Spotify. I'm not going to let you all ramble any longer. that's the end of our August 2021 recap. Thanks for listening. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good one.
That's it.
Bye.